Computer is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hello and welcome. This is Global Edition 13. My name's Alex Young, and here with me is not Damon Hill, but Damon, the commentator, the man himself. Damon, it's so good to be here. It's Global Edition 13, 13th time we've done it, round one. And many categories to get through today.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get through today. We'll be doing the copper, bronze, silver, and gold league,
Yep.
all of them tonight, round one. It's a very wet and rainy Friday night, but the skies are clear for today's races. And
Yeah,
we can go straight into the track that we're about
Yeah.
to be racing in today.
absolutely. We're at Barcelona for round one. 4.65 kilometers, everyone knows it. And we're on the MotoGP track, the bike track, which does away with that crappy little chicane in the
Yeah.
Laos sector, which I think we much prefer.
Yeah, lots of fast straights into really slow corners.
Yeah.
So a lot of this track is going to be a test of courage for some of these races, just to see who's brave enough to brake just a little bit later than everyone else.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go onto the action right now. And you can see that the cars are out there. MX-5 going through round one. Interesting enough, we're on board with a new driver, Roger Amaral. Amaral actually was... it's a brand new driver to sim racing, actually. It's quite exciting. He's the quickest at the moment. Chavinish Marner. We talked about him last year. This is a really quick driver from last year.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest drivers we had last season, and his brother Lavinesh, of course, who won last season, is now racing in the Bronze League.
Yeah.
So let's hope that Chavinesh will be able to join his brother by the end of this season. We've got a lot of new drivers actually this season.
Absolutely. We got quite a few new drivers. Let's see who else is out there. Mikhail Iqbal, he's actually been in Copper Class a few years. He can be quick on occasion. Just stop the track. Oh, brand new one. Genevieve. She's brand new to racing. This is actually her first online race at the moment. Her fastest lap at 2:05.5. That's not bad. A couple seconds off. Amaru out there with fast lap 2:03.4. That's going to be hard to beat. But yeah, lots of exciting cars out there.
Yeah, the way she's driving makes it look like that she's definitely had some experience driving around in a Assetto Corsa. And we also can't ignore the cars themselves. We have to talk about the cars sometime.
Yeah, let's look. We can go on board with the MX-5. Can we have a look at some of the cars? We'll go on board during the qualifying as well, and we'll see how that goes.
So practice is just about wrapping up. We'll be heading straight into qualifying in just a second, but we can already see how it looks like for some of these drivers. Some of them are very fast indeed. Some of them are taking their time to get used to the cars. Some of them are getting there. But the true test, of course, for the very first round of our Copper League is the qualifying lap.
Absolutely. And Nabil Jallo out there, interesting, in the Sri Lanka car. He's actually Team Racing Line. I wonder if he got the right livery at all. and some of the other cars out. Let's see who else is out there. Most of these drivers are in the pits actually getting ready for qualifying now because practice is over.
I like that Misha livery. It kind of fits because Misha, M and X, you have the MX-5 of course. Very nice car indeed, very nice livery. I like this a lot. Driven here by Handi Goandi. So we're just about lining up to see qualifying in just a bit while we wait for all these drivers to get into the pits.
Yeah, coming up soon. We're just waiting for qualifying to come on now. See what happens. Come back onto a full screen watch with us right now.
Okay, so you've seen some of these drivers on track already. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking out for right now?
Well, it's hard to say. I think Chavanish is going to be a firm favorite, right? You know, his brother won Copper last year. Well, last Global Edition, not last year, just earlier this year.
Yeah.
He's in the bronze, so we'll have to look out for him in the bronze. He's going to be the car driver to beat, I think. There's some other quick drivers out there. A lot of drivers' names I don't really recognize. Some a lot of new guys. And that's what's so great about Copper Edition. The Copper class is all about introducing new drivers. Often means there's quite a few crashes during the race because it can get exciting.
Yeah.
And we do have 30 drivers as well, so that's going to be fun to watch. But yes, I think Chavanish should be overriding favorite, but I am also looking out for Raja Amaral. You know, he's brand new to sim racing, but I saw him because he took part in Campus Edition for the Toyota GT Cup Malaysia.
Yeah, okay.
And he just showed up. Had never driven a sim before, and he was not bad. Then he showed up another time, and he was really quick. So a driver that just, you know, he's one of those drivers that you just picks up things really quickly. So he's racing from Johor right now at Axel Academy. So I think he'll be very quick as well.
Okay,
see
we'll
how
be
that goes.
getting onto track for qualifying. It just started now.
All right, let's see as the drivers are going on the way out. Some of the views we have from right now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's ride on board with a Sri Lankan driver. You want to have a go pronouncing that?
Dehan Eranga? I think that should be...
I think that's a really good attempt. I'm going to follow you. Eranga then, from Sri Lanka out there. Great livery, great to see them out there in the Copper class.
Yep.
So we'll see how he goes.
I did notice that a few names on that will be difficult for me to pronounce in the heat of the moment. Car in position 14 there. I'm gonna give it a really good attempt. Chris Axel Arazanso, is that one?
Which I can't even see that name.
Number 14 right now.
Yeah,
that one.
That one. Yeah, that one's gonna be tough to come. I can't even find it on the time screen. There he is. Arazanso. Oof, it's going to be a mouthful. Ammo and you are going to have great fun commentating on this. Okay, let's see which driver we can follow to see the start of the lap. Let's go with Chavanish. He's our pole favorite, I think. We saw him last year. Maybe not. Didn't have the consistency of his brother. That's why he did not win the championship. He's actually quite far away from starting lap. So we'll go and try and see who else we can catch. Who's just about to start lap. How about Adri Amit?
Yes, this is one of the fast drivers from last season as well. Couldn't pull out the win. There were a few inconsistencies in the way he's driving, but again, he's been here for a while. He's also a very, very young driver. I think, so it's amazing to see the potential he has and the space he has to grow as a driver as he grows older.
Yep.
But for now, we just have to make sure that he can keep it consistent because he is very fast.
Okay, look at it. He's just diving down the inside of the penultimate corner. Oh, bit of contact there in qualifying. Oh, taken out at the very start. Okay, let's try and find someone else. Gosh, so much action, and the laps haven't even started right now.
Yeah, everyone's on their outlet so far. Shavidas just goes off right as we pan the camera towards him.
All right, we're going to follow someone. Okay, let's ride on board with Alip Jantan. He's coming down to turn 1. Jantan brakes for turn 1. Here we are at Barcelona. This car, you really got to be flat from here for a long time because turn 2 is flat. Alip just has a bit of lift.
Yep.
Turn 3 should be flat. These MX-5s are great cars to learn how to drive because they are so underpowered. And turn 3 should be flat. Jantan having a small lift, maybe he's not up to confidence yet. Before braking for turn 4, you've got to brake underneath the bridge. Nicely done. Dive down the apex. Try and carry some speed. short straight out of turn 4. You've got to keep over the right hand side because this next one is a left-hander, and you've got to just be a bit careful there. There is a Jantan who's just followed by another car from Sri Lanka. Good exit out of turn 5. There he is. Then through turn 6, it's not really a corner. For braking for turn 7 and 8, got to use the curb here. He's not really using enough curb on the entrance or the exit. You've really got to monster the curbs if you want to be quick here. But there he goes. And then through turn 9 until 10, flat at MX5. Should be flat. He's having a bit of a lift though. So, yeah, at the moment, Alec Jantan on a really careful lap, I would say. Not really being too aggressive on this opening lap. Before braking, I'm going to take a guess here and say this is turn 10 or 11. Sometimes an overtaking opportunities through here. Hitting through turn 11, which is usually flat, and then turn 12. Turn 12, you've got to, it feels like a hairpin, but you really just got to breathe and brake. You can actually carry a lot of speed through here. And then the last two corners, 13 and 14. 13 is flat in MX5. It won't be flat in some of the faster cars coming later. And then 14 here is just a lift. You can hear that lift. Good. On the throttle now. Good exit. And that's it. He comes out the last corner and goes across the line. This won't be the fastest lap out there. And in fact, Jantan gets a 6.6. Quickest at the moment? Wow. Ryan Mushin.
And you can already see, just as he enters turn 1, that he's already using the track limits to its maximum extent by putting half of his car onto the curb to get a good line into turn 1.
Yep.
And that also is a very good display of how Copper League can develop a driver. You can have the skills, of course, but what we're setting out to achieve in Copper League is consistency and discipline with most of these drivers.
Wow, okay, Shavanish is just about to finish his first time lap. This is a guy that'll be fighting for pole position. Goes through the last corner. Wow. And Raja Amarul has actually gone quickest at the moment at 3.5. Let's see if Shavanish can get close to it. As we have this interesting camera angle. Goes across the line. No, not a good lap. 5.5. He will not be happy with that at all.
Yeah, he does have one more lap though. We've got about 35 seconds before qualifying, and some of these drivers who have not crossed the line yet probably won't make it in time. You can see a few drivers around the back there. About 5 of them in total aren't qualifying, so they'll be starting at the back of the grid. But for those that are, 203.5 is a very fast time to beat.
Yeah. So this is the guy on pole position now. A 3.5. That's too quick. I don't think I could do that lap time when I was driving these cars.
Definitely.
Maybe this guy should be bumped up to bronze, but I swear he is a brand new driver. Really good lap time there. So he's on his halfway through his second lap. We'll come back to him in a second. Guy in second, Eli Dablio. I was going to say Diablo, but that's not quite right. Dablio in second position. And Yeshan there, Nirosh Yeshan there in P3. His day is done. But yes, okay, so Raja Amaral coming across the line, so he's aboarded his lap as well. Let's look at Shavanish then. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. He's 2/10 off his fastest lap. Yeah, so we saw him quick in practice, but when it comes to delivering the goods in qualifying, leaving a little bit of time on the table.
Yeah, it does definitely seem like it. Could be the nerves from just starting out, but of course Shavinash has been doing this for a while. Maybe a small mistake happened early on in Sector 1, but he is closing the gap right now in this following sector.
Couple corners to go. He's actually neck and neck. If you can just find a little bit more time, you can maybe move a couple positions up.
Yeah, this last sector is going to be very important, especially when it's one of the fastest sectors in the entire track, because the final 3 turns before the finish line are very fast corners, and you can take them flat in these cars. These cars are not very fast. They don't have that much power. It's about 160 horsepower each of these cars have, but that also trains you to be able to conserve momentum, because you need to be fast. And look at that. He bumped himself up to 3rd place with a 2:04.1.
Nice. So he did find some time. Shavanish delivering just at the def there. Second row. He can do a lot of damage from the second row, so I think he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, so just before we start off with the race, why don't you walk us through the format for these 2 races?
Okay, so it's Copper class, right?
Yeah.
So we've just had qualifying, and they're 2 15-minute races. The first 15-minute race is done on the grid we've just seen from qualifying. But the second race, that's the fun race. It's a reverse grid, top 10 reverse. That's going to be exciting to watch. We will see a lot of action. Guys, this is the Copper class. let's not forget this. A lot of beginners in this class, so we will see a lot of cars out there. But everyone is not doing it on purpose. They're trying to keep everything nice and clean. But this is what it's all about. We learn from our mistakes, and hopefully as the drivers get better, they move up to bronze, and then silver and gold, which is coming up right after this.
All right, 15 seconds before the start of a race here.
Ranga, Sri Lankan in second, Shavish Mohan in third, Eli Dablio in fourth from the Philippines, Ryan Mushu in fifth, Mikhail Iqbal in sixth. Good lap by the Malaysian.
Yep.
Another Sri Lankan, Yeshan in seventh, Xavier Koo from Singapore in eighth position. So pretty interesting.
All right. Just about 2 minutes before we count down. Based on qualifying right now, there are a few cars we're definitely looking out for, but as with all races, the most intense part is usually turn one.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, turn one can get very intense indeed. It's Barcelona actually is not too bad, right? You remember Monza, how bad Monza is for a turn one. You always see carnage at turn one. But Barcelona, at least, it's quite a wide track, and there's even more excess road at the exit of turn one. You can just kind of run wide on turn one, cut turn two, and rejoin the track. Yeah. So hopefully we won't see too many cars off facing the wrong way.
Let's hope so. Okay, 1 more minute. Here we are. We're very much ready to get onto the track and join the racers.
Actually, you can just see some of the times here right now. We are on track now with the cars. Exciting to see how they do. Sort of a lot of new drivers there as well. We'll get used to the names as we go along.
Okay, we're going to have to be really careful here. As you said, few new drivers here. Could be chaos incoming.
Yep. Just 30 seconds left before the start of the race. I tell you what, though, it's for a lot of these drivers, they're copper class drivers. They've never done this race before. Like we are just talking about Jen. She's never done an online race. Some of these guys, when they start driving, at least they do some online races. But there'll be 3 or 4 drivers who have never done a race before. And I tell you what, their hearts are going to be going. They're going to be pumping really, really loudly, just like it was a real-life race.
All right, 10 seconds left. Lights are going to come on the gantry soon. We go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the drivers are off. We're getting ready here. You can see. Just as we're getting into the pits now. Okay, turn 1. Very important right now. We have to go and look at the front of the pack, see what's going on here. Okay, they're coming out to the first straight. Turn 1. Moment of truth. Look at how many cars are on the field right now. Coming into turn 1. Seems to be very nice and clean. Yep. Ooh. A little bit of contact there.
Iranga there getting a little bit sideways through turn 1. Managed to recover though. And wow, this is astonishing. Okay, we just saw one of the Sri Lankan cars go off at turn 3. Entrance to turn 3. But mostly everyone got through those first couple corners okay.
Great. Definitely, yeah. White track, lots of space to get around. Pick a line, stay through it, make sure you don't disturb anyone else's. And just because of that, as we go on to, I think this might be turn 4.
That's right, this is turn 5 actually.
Yeah.
I'm riding on board with Shabnish Mohan Nair, who's in second position, managed to overtake Iranga through turns 1 and 2, and is holding on right now. But look at that, Raja Agarwal's just disappearing off into the distance.
Yeah, you can definitely see. Look at how nicely he uses the track limits there. Just put his car onto the curb. Use as much of the track as possible to keep and conserve as much speed as possible. Shaminash right behind him, towing the line as well. These are very fast drivers as well. We just haven't seen them throughout 15 minutes. So we're about to see that. Shaminash on board here. Coming in behind. Gap is about 1 second between him and Shaukat here. Tian Iranga just behind him. Did come a bit loose during turn, I think it was turn 2, turn 3 right there. And just like that, I think, yeah, we're settling into a rhythm right now.
Yeah. There we go, top 2. There we look at another car there, Ryan Mushin, just all over the back of Iranga there from Sri Lanka. Ooh, got on the throttle a bit too early, had to jump off it straight away, and has had an appalling exit out of the last corner.
Yeah. Again, the important thing is conservation of momentum. If you don't get a fast exit, you basically you mess up your lap. Your lap is done.
Yeah, exits are really good. Okay, we're on board with Ryan. You can see right now. Is he using a shifter? He's actually using a shifter, isn't he? Awesome. Actually, I've been told using the shifter is actually a bit faster. I know Nabil Aslan was saying that he preferred using a shifter. So great to see Ryan there using a shifter. Nice to see him in the eRacing GP shirt as well.
And if he's not using the clutch as well, he's basically just power shifting through everything, which gives him better shifts and keeps his car higher up in the rev range so he can get within that very narrow power band that these cars have.
Okay, we have to keep an eye on Tehan Iranga though. He's closed the gap. He's left Ryan and he's closed the gap to Shavanish Naya. So that looks like it's going to be a battle for second position. And just a very... There he is on the inside.
Textbook pass.
Nice overtake. No!
Ooh, closing the door a bit there is Shavanish onto Teranga. Does concede the position, ending up with Shavanish staying in second. But this race is far from over. And look at that. Their battle has given Ryan Musin time for them to keep up. And now it's a three-way battle for P2.
Wow, this is good. They heard three wide coming into the next corner. This is, of course, turn 10. Camera angles don't like swapping, so nicely.
Here comes Ryan Musin trying to make an attack onto Tehan. Gets a bit on the inside. Doesn't seem to be able to make a stick. Tehan is barely holding on, but he has the inside track for the next right-hander here. We'll see that. Yeah, Ryan Musin has to give him space, but he's back on his tail. Ooh, very nice exit from Tehan there onto the tail of Shavanish Moanai. Let's see here whether he'll be able to make the pass happen again.
Let's see if he can get the exit he needs. Whoa, yes, this is going to be a good exit from him.
Oh, Shavanish goes wide, but Musin shuns him from the back and might end up taking a bad line through there.
We have to go to the helicopter camera, I think.
Oh, look at that. Look at how tightly packed those three cars
But look at that. You see what I mean? Look at Ryan's pace down the straight. He's better. And I think that shifter is looking good. I think using the mobile shifter, the manual shifter does help.
Oh, here they come. 3 wide to turn 1. Both Tehan and Musin ended up having to brake earlier than Shavanish. Shavanish actually going quite late on the brakes there, trying to eke out the position, but doesn't get a good exit. Tehan Iranga gives him a little bit of a shot because he did have a faster exit. And this battle is something we're going to keep an eye on for the rest of the race, I think.
Yeah, just saying hi to everyone. And closing up that gap behind, Hiroshi Yeshan is actually getting closer as well. So these three drivers scrapping for second, third, and fourth is allowing the car in fifth to catch up.
Yeah, but behind all that, Amiro Shauka just completely ignoring this battle behind him. He's now about 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. Everyone else is getting slowed down, and he's comfortably in the lead.
Yes, let's not forget our leader right now. Amro, this is his first eRacing GP race ever, and he's just killing it. Look at that gap, 4.5 seconds ahead of that battle for second position.
Yeah, absolutely no pressure. Shavanish goes off a little bit there, took a bit too much power into that corner. Might concede a bit of time, but it seems that he's still able to keep it under control. But Tehan Iranga hot on his heels with Ryan Musin just trailing slightly behind. Ooh, I think that was Tick.
That was someone else. I think
yeah, that was someone that was a back marker. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to look at this battle for 7th position because the battle for 7th position, 6th and 7th position is getting interesting. Jantan, Gunawan, Samuran, Samarun, and Sadewa.
Yeah.
Some good battles going on all the way up and down the field.
Sunny day here in Circuit Barcelona, Catalonia, and we're quietly enjoying this because we can hear Varine outside of our broadcast room right now. It's getting quite heavy. Shavanish and Iranga still locked in a battle for second place. We've got about 8.5 minutes left in this race, so anything could happen at this point in time. Ooh, a bit swerved there for Shavanish. A bit of defensive driving coming in, and Tehan is playing along with him, but he does have a better run up past the start-finish line. Ghost takes a wide line to turn 1. Will he be able to keep the pass? No, he still tries to dive in. But now Shavanish has the inside track for the next second-hand corner. Goes off a bit wide there. But, again, keeping this lead. But only just.
Yeah, riding on board with Iranga again. Looking to the outside now. This is turn 4. Can't really go around the outside here, or can you? Let's try to switch back.
And we didn't see Tehan Iranga last season. I think.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is where we need the stat man, Amo Hazik. He's the man that remembers everyone and everything to do with motorsports.
Yeah.
Our resident Anorak here at eRacing GP. He'll be joining us later.
But you can see Shavanish is definitely feeling the pressure. You can see his driving is a little bit
Absolutely.
not I want to say not really confident. Oh! I said that I've just cursed eRacing as he puts a bit too much power on the exit and spins out.
Gosh, the camera angles need some work. But yes, eRacing spins out. He's holds on, I think, to 5th position, but he'd be devastatingly disappointed with that.
Yeah, but now he's losing ground to Alim Jantan. The battle for P6 is still ongoing, but now it might just be a battle for P5 because he is catching up to Tihan eRacing. Coming out there, there's still a bit of a gap, but Alim Jantan breaks quite a bit early there, giving Gunawan space to try and make a move. Doesn't end up happening, but I think there might be some contact there. Alim Jantan has spun.
Wow, that's a shame. He loses several positions, unfortunately.
Oh, that's so sad. Tragic, honestly. Dan eRacing quick on the recovery now in P5, trying to catch back up to the rest of the pack. He's 6 seconds behind his fellow countryman, Nirosh Yeshan here. Same livery, same car, and now it's a battle again. This time he has to hold P5. Cars behind him are catching up only just.
Shall we go back and see how our leader's doing?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Amir Shaka again extending the lead. It's now almost 7 seconds. He's got no pressure for this race.
Yeah, he's loving this. Shavanish there in 2nd position. He's got a gap now.
Yeah, so he's got some breathing room. He'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief. That battle really is a game of mental fortitude, and luckily for him, he definitely won out there.
Yeah. Ryan behind him, also coming under some pressure. Actually, is that that's Yeshan, isn't
Yes, yeah. The other Sri Lankan driver here with the Sri Lankan racing livery here.
So Yeshan there, just all over the back of Ryan.
Little dive on the brakes there for Hussein. Probably wasn't sure that he was taking that corner too fast or not. A little bit squarely on the exit there, giving Yeshan a bit of time to pass him. Sorry, not pass him, close the gap. He hasn't passed him yet. He's about to, I think.
It's a smart flat there. Can he get a loop? Yes, he's going to try and
Yeah, he's
dive.
got a very nice line through there. Makes it through. Hussein has to give him space, but this is a left-hander, which means Yeshan has the inside track. Yeah, he definitely gets a braking line there. He gets the inside line. Does make the pass happen.
Yep, has made the pass happen. Ryan Mushan, actually, this is his first eRacing GP. Ooh, there's going to be contact for sure, isn't there?
They're actually managing to keep
Side
it
by
clean.
side.
Yep, Hussein had to give him space there. There was going to be contact inevitable happening if he didn't slow down there. But slowing down there does mean you don't get a good exit out of these next few corners, and because these are very fast corners, you lose a lot of speed. Is that right, Hussein? Very loose on the car there, almost sliding on the exit of Catalonia.
Yeah. Nirosh Yeshan really does some nice driving, kept it around the outside, and now he's up to P3.
And it's interesting to note that despite being in 2nd place, Shabinash does have the fastest lap of the race with a 2:04.0.
Yeah. So who else in Zoom that might be out there? Not many drivers in Zoom today. We're on board with Donny Sadewa. Quick return 1, looks down the inside. No, not close enough. Just backs out of it.
Yeah, so now battling, of course, with Gunawan and Govindu Samarakun for P6, it looks like. And then, even then, while we're talking about the cars in the front, look at the back. There's still battles happening between cars in the back here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on board right now with Mika Iqbal. He's all over the back of the car in front of him.
So that is Hadi Gowandi in the Misha MX-5, of course. A little bit unsure about what lines have to take. Does go a little bit wide there, just missing the apex. Gonna have to improve on some of these corners if he wants to set a very fast time.
All right, lots of big pile of cars right behind him as well.
Ooh, that was a spin there somewhere. Which driver was that? I think that was Elvis Wong. I think that was one who spun.
Elvis Wong, that's such a great name. We've got to watch him now.
Yeah, does lose a few positions, but we'll see if he'll be able to call it back. He's fighting Adrian Amin right now.
Yeah, he just got down the inside of Adre, takes the position from him. Was that, actually, I'm not sure that's Elvis Wong. Adre taking the position. Let's ride on board and see for sure. This is Adre now.
So this is he has to brake a little bit early. That's a big dive coming in there. Oh, contact!
Yeah,
Oh, that's tragic.
There's going to be a few cars out there. Someone managed to survive.
Yeah, and I feel like that might raise some questions between the drivers as to who was at fault, of course. Oh, someone's gone wide there, just at the corner. Just at the corner exit of Catalonia there. Right to the start finish straight. Ooh, rejoining the track. A little bit unsafe there as he rejoins the track. Almost causes 2 more accidents.
Yeah, a bit fortunate there. Wasn't a big accident.
And just like that, we've talked about a lot of battles happening on track. And just like that, we've got less than 2 minutes before the end of this race.
Yeah. Adrian right now. He's quite a bit further back. Nabu Jalil was in 9th position. Good recovery drive. He lost a few places, but he's back up to P9. But let's go a little bit further there because it seems to be having a pretty oof. So that's just jumbled as Nabil spins off, tries to recover. He won't lose a position.
That was quite a gap there. He could have turned left to go right and still didn't lose a position there. But now 3 cars behind him, so he might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it manages to hold on for now. Very fortunate to get away with that spin. Okay, a bit further up. There's this good battle here right now. Guna 1 is just in front of Samarakun.
Yep.
P7.
Ooh, bit of a late break for Gunawan there, but the lines that Samarakun took were not fast enough for him to be able to close the gap to make a pass happen. But not at the end of the race yet. You can see Gunawan there trying to hold on to the MX-5. These cars, while they may not have a lot of power, they are still rear-wheel drive and they can still buckle under heavy throttle. You can see that Samarakun now taking advantage of the fact that Gunawan can't control his car. A little bit of a shunt there. That might be a mistake coming in from Samarakun. Went a bit too fast there. Oh.
See, sometimes you do that. I would have just tried to hit the car back again to try and straighten him.
Yeah.
But wasn't able to. He did stop, however, to let him by. But still, that was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's part of the course for this league as well. Some of these drivers don't really have the discipline they need yet to progress further. And this is the perfect testing bed for them to slowly get better at driving as well as race discipline. Of course, we're now at the end of our 15-minute sprint here, and the story of the hour right now is Shaukat. Very first race, P1, 8 seconds ahead of Shavinash Mohanai, who is a veteran in the Copper League.
Yes, yeah, wow, yes. I mean, wow, 10 seconds. This has been a masterful drive. Driving in Johor right now. Yeah, wow. I had a feeling he'd be up at the front, but I didn't think he'd be that dominant. 10 seconds. Okay, I know that the guys in second and third have been battling each other, but still, that's a huge gap. And Raja Amarul is going to come through to take his first win. How about that?
Yeah, amazingly, even his fastest lap is faster than his qualifying lap. So he's just getting progressively better. Of course, with this win comes the next big question. What if he starts at P10 instead?
Well, you know, he's driven this race like he's a pro. And there he goes, crosses the line, takes his first win in the RGP. But he's just beginning, and now we've got a reverse grid race later. Be interesting to see how he handles it, because it's a big field, and it's very easy to get in some contact and get all the way knocked back to the back of the field quite easily. So let's see what he can do. Shavanish there takes second position in front of Iranga. So actually Sri Lankan third and fourth. Yeshan in fourth there. And Ryan Mushin there in fifth. Good to see that happen. So that's the top 5 across the line right now.
And Iranga doing a great job, actually managing to get P3 back after a few unfortunate incidents happened to him. Did lose control of the car, did end up turning right to go left. But he managed to claw it back, and great drive from him, actually.
Yeah, really, really awesome to see. Yeah, that's pretty good. We could go for a quick break, really, and come back in with the race number 2. Be back in just a short while. That's race 1, race 2 coming up.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Okay, guys, welcome back. This is Global Edition 13. We are in the copper class. We just had race 1, very exciting race. Now we're into race 2, and race 2 is reverse grid. In fact, if we can just show you, you can see that the top 10 are actually reversed right now. Maybe go to a full screen. Let's go to a full screen. You can see, you can take us through the top 10 there.
Yeah, Samara Kun ended up P10 last race, so now he starts at P1. Just behind him, Adrian Ahmed in P2, Nabil Jalil rounding out the top 3. Then we have Gunawan, Tony Sadewa, Wan Raya Musin, Nirosh Yeshan, Eranga, Shavinesh Moanayer, and of course our winner from last round, Raja Amirul Shaukat.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to be the guy to watch, really. I think, Shavinesh is more experienced. I actually think he's my driver to try and make it to the front. There are some fast drivers ahead of him, but I think if he keeps it cool, he could probably get into the top 4 or 5. Let's go to the race itself. Big question to see if Raja Amarul can make it up, because he's very inexperienced.
Yeah, Gantry's coming on now with 3 seconds to start. Let's hope everyone gets a good launch here. Yeah, it seems everyone does have a pretty good launch coming out of the start, finish straight. Seems there are no changes in position right now and they're off. We're going to have to send our car back to the pits now, actually, before we end up being an obstacle on the road.
Okay, so let's do that then.
Yep, just here. Alright, there we go. Okay, so let's go over to the front of the field right now. Adrian. Oh, there's already an incident happening there. That was Adrian Ahmed, I think. He just spun out. I think he got tagged by someone in the back.
Oh, wow, so big recovery there. But wow, that's allowed Samarakun to have a big lead at the front right now.
Yeah, so now we're in the same position we were in race 1, except the positions are switched between these drivers.
Geshan is getting punted off.
That's Goandi there. He might go punted off, but now there's even more incidents happening there. That's a 4-car pileup, 5-car pileup, almost turning into 6.
Jesus. Cars everywhere. Oh my god, and he's gone round again.
Oh, there's another one. I think that was Niroshi Yeshan, Eranga. All the Sri Lankan cars are going off, and that was an unsafe rejoin. And another,
Wow, so we see the Sri Lankan cars all going off together.
Ooh, careful there. Oh god, I nearly got a heart attack just watching all of that happen.
Oh my gosh, let's see who's at the front then. Gunnar once had recovered from that really well, up to P3.
And just like that, Shavinesh kept his cool throughout the entire race, is back in 2nd.
My gosh, Shavinish, we just talked about him. He's going to be one of the drivers.
Oh, he's not in 2nd. I think there's something wrong with the leaderboards there.
Yeah,
he's in 6th, yes.
The leaderboards are trying to cycle through, trying to figure out what's going on, and he's in P6 for sure.
Okay. We're calm now, right? Everything's settled down, hopefully, so we can go back to talking about the front runners here. Yeah, so we have Samarakun holding on to first place quite nicely. Gunawan in 2nd place. Eranga in 3rd. Surprisingly, managing to keep calm there. So I don't think he was part of the big incident that happened earlier in the lap. Amiro Shaukat in 5th place, managing to keep his cool and climb up the ranks, avoiding all the kerfuffle that happened earlier.
Right, look at that. Race 1 winner, Roger Amaral, is now a great exit out of the last corner. Looking down the inside, he doesn't have the toe though. It's going to be interesting to see. Oh, he's going to get 2 cars. So I think Iranga maybe with some damage because he wasn't very quick down the straight.
Yeah, coming into T1 there, he'll be able to take the inside line a bit over the curbs there, almost onto the grass actually, but he does make the pass on Iranga happen, and now he's hunting down Eli W.
And meanwhile, out in front, look at that gap. After 1 lap, 5 seconds for the leader. Before we see Gunawan there come round in 2nd position, and a whole bunch of cars right behind him.
Yeah. Whew. I need to take a breath now. That was nutty.
Tehan Iranga though, it's good to see he's still out there. We saw a lot of cars with Sri Lankan livery just disappear on that first lap. So good to see Iranga still up there and with a fighting chance for the top 5.
Yeah, so now it's a 4-car battle for P2. Almost reminds you of last race actually, except the drivers are different this time around.
Absolutely. Exciting first few laps. Always happens in reverse grid races. That's why we like to watch them.
A lot of other people have also come out slightly better than they did last race. So you can see in P7 right now is Chris Axel Arazan. So I hope I got that name correct this time around. Actually in the top 10. He didn't have a very good race last time around. He ended up somewhere around 15th-ish, I believe. But now he's having a good time. A few cars are having the opposite of a good time right now. Is Adrian Abid, who started in P2, is now stuck in P10.
Yeah, got involved in those incidents in the first couple of corners. But he's still in the top 10, I guess you could say that. He could be 20th. There are a lot of cars out there, 30 cars out there today. So, yeah, he can still recover from 10th.
Yeah, it looks like Adrian Amit, they're trying to hold off on Handi Gowandi. Handi Gowandi on the side, they're making a pass, I think.
Yeah.
Which car was that just went off, I think?
I think it might have been Long Thai. They just went wide there. But anyway, good battle still happening here at the front of the pack.
Yeah, 5-car battle now for P2, I think. The bottom 2 cars, Shavinesh and Tehan, are fighting for their own positions right now. So the battle is between Raja Amiro Shaukat, Gunawan, and Eli W. And Shaukat in the middle of the... Look at how nicely he holds his car. Completely under control there. As he comes in, ooh, very nice in dive through there. Doesn't manage to make the pass thing, but does still have a nice line through there. And Gunawan trying to drive a little bit defensively there. Ends up losing control of the car slightly. Giving Shaukat space. That's contact! I think... Oh, that was Shavin. That was Eli. I think he just got hit and was an unfortunate victim of that.
Unlucky indeed. It's allowed Shavinish to make a position and Iranga to make a position.
And that's the sort of thing you just have to expect from these. Certain incidents can happen.
Yeah.
These drivers are still slowly honing their race discipline in order to become fast drivers there. But when there are these many cars on the field, there's definitely an incident that's bound to happen.
But you would call this a swarm of cars, I would think.
Yeah, it's like watching bees around a hive. You know, there's just so many of them.
There's so many of them here right now. Coming down to this turn 10 right now. Look at that, cars everywhere.
Oh, bunch of buzzing MX-5s. Well, again, we've reached a lull state so far. I would say, as I say that, you can see a pass just happening there, right? The S curves. Couldn't tell which car that was actually. I think that might have been Nabil Jalil and Ahmad Muhammad having a battle there for P16.
A red car. We have to go back to the front though because it's looking quite tasty at the moment. The battle for second position is really heating up. We're on board now, Raj Amaral. Going into turn 1, side by side.
Be able to see whether or not. Yeah, he does make the pass happen. Can he make it stick? No, Gunawan's just right behind him. Getting a tighter line to that, but not carrying as much speed to the exit. And just like that, I think, yeah, Shaukat just makes it through. No issues.
So up to second from 10th. Up to second from 10th position. Can he close the gap down to the leader now? 5 seconds behind the leader. Still, it's just under 8 minutes to go. Anything's possible.
What a great first round from Shaukat we've seen so far. What a driver, actually.
Yeah, I have to have a word with him. Maybe he needs to go up to bronze.
Oh, look at that. Ooh, I think Gunawan may have just punted Iranga off there a little bit.
I don't know if that was accidental or being a bit naughty there by, what was that? That was Shavanish, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's Shavanish, right?
That was Gunawan.
Ooh. So now we're in a position where you have to make sure Shaukat doesn't get the position, but he's already locked second place up quite easily. He's 1 second ahead of Gunawan, and there are a second gap between these three cars right now. Ooh, I think that was Shavanish there. Just gone a little bit too hard on the throttle on the exit.
Okay, it is slowing down a bit. This is the lull. We could go back to the Bs. This is where the action is. Swarm of bees, red cars, with a couple of some grey cars interjected into.
Yeah. So we're on board with Judiel Nino Gonzalez right now. It's the first time we've panned the camera towards him, and he's stuck in the middle of a pretty big pack, I would say.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of it, isn't he? P12, not bad. He gets points for P10. I think up to 10.
Oh, look at that! What just happened there? I think that might have been him actually. He got knocked down to P14. Yeah, he basically got tagged, ended up there. Ooh, a bit of slide coming there. Well, have I told you that the MX-5 is also an excellent beginner drift car?
Is it now?
Well, these drivers are definitely proving it.
Yeah, well that is true. Okay, 6 minutes to go in race 2 here from Copper class.
And the big question is right now, you can see the gap between Samarakut in P1 and Shaukat. It was 5 seconds a lap ago, and now it's down by 1 second. As we can see right now, Julian Nino Gonzalez on board with him. As you can see here, a little bit nice on the car control. That could do just a little bit better there, yep. Ooh, a bit too fast on the entry there, having to pull wide, and this exit, yeah, not great on the exit.
No, but he's only 3/10 behind the car. Oh no, he's a second behind.
Yeah, that's Nabil Jalil he's driving behind right now. What is it? No, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Now riding on board with Yeshan. Yeshan was involved in that first lap.
Ooh, he ends up turning left to go right there. Ends up in the barrier. That's unfortunate. Yeah, these cars are still.
I wish there was a button you could press that would make the graphic of the driver hit the steering wheel with his fist. So we could press it in those moments.
He definitely is. I'm willing to wager he's probably doing that at home right now, just like.
Oh, absolutely. He'll be cursing.
Oh, another one! He's just been involved in so many incidents this race. What happened here?
Wow.
I think that was a collision with Nico Miguel CEO right there.
Yeah, quite a few incidents here. We're on the helicopter cam. Helicopter cam is more fun when the cars are faster, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh,
Can you see there? He just lost control on his own there.
car's off again. But yes, I do normally enjoy this angle, but I think we need GT3 cars a minimum for this angle.
Especially because you can't really hear anything from this camera point as well.
That's true. Okay, Yeshon there completes a lap. Okay, there's a good battle there for third position going on right now.
Yeah. Danny Rangla trying to claw back P3 from Gunawan there. So you can see the clear difference in the lines these drivers are taking. Some just pretty much have the right driving lines down pat, right? And some of them are still trying to figure out how much they can do, how much they can do to their cars. Still trying to figure out the limits of where their grip is, how fast they can take corners, how much momentum they can conserve. And it definitely shows in the driving that they do.
Rangla there. Good. Good. That's a good line though. You want to use all that at the curb. Curb on the apex, curb on the exits. Good way around. Through turn. It's lifting. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think he was kind of worried that he might end up in the back of Gunawan because Gunawan didn't take the optimal line through that corner. So.
Yeah. He's compromised his exit out of that corner though. Gunawan now has a little bit of breathing space between him and the car behind.
Is he on board with him right now? Yeah. He's definitely got the idea. He's trying to make something happen. We've got less than 3 minutes before the end of the race. He's still in a pretty good position right now, I would say.
Sorry, I'm just playing around camera angles here. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, we've got a back one as well. Okay, we'll use this one.
That might be really useful the next time around we do Corporate League races, just so we can see carnage that happens behind us sometimes.
Rangla looks like he's got a great exit out the last corner. He's got the slipstream. He's going to get close here. If there's space on the inside, mate, I would have gone to the inside.
Could try and force a better line on the outside, but Gunawan, on the other hand, could also shut the door on him and try to force him out of a perfect line, as we can see here right now. Yeah, that's definitely didn't take the great line through there, and ends up being too slow to get the inside track for the next corner.
Okay. So, status quo at the moment then.
Yeah, and I think I saw Chavinage go off a little bit there, which I think gives... yeah. Just
back
that.
here.
Okay, so now we're back in the rounding up the top 10.
Well, Ryan Mushin is recovered up to P9, though he's got Javier Ku all over the back of the car.
Oof. So we got 90 seconds left until the end of the race there. Battles are still ongoing everywhere right now. It's it's hard to keep track of all of them because so many of them happening simultaneously, and that's what you get when you have a whole field full of cars. 30 cars almost. So onboard Ryan Musin here, just looking behind him. Xavier Hu trying to make a pass happen. You can actually see the camera tracking the car behind him slightly, making the pass happen. Doesn't seem to make it stick though. He had to brake a bit early because he didn't have a great line through there.
Stays in front. Some of these cars.
Oh, he's flashing his lights.
Mushin, they're lifting in a very strange place with that corner. That corner's very flat.
Yeah, I can see that Xavier is trying his hardest to ask Musin to let him through. Hasn't seemed to be able to make that happen yet. Oh, the switcheroo! Look at that! Great pass! And Musin actually lost it a little bit there.
Nice move.
Great move. Definitely felt a little bit of the pressure there.
As they come through. What corner is this? Turn 12.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to work on that for the next round. I think the camera angles for this particular track aren't the best around. Alright, we just finished up the race. 15 minutes are out.
Oh
Shao Kahn
my
actually
gosh.
made it in first place. How did he get there?
We completely missed that. I gotta apologize to the viewers. We were watching some of the action further down. I didn't think Samarakun was gonna get caught, to be honest. He was way out in front.
Yeah, definitely. He was about 4 seconds ahead the last time we checked. I think Shao Kahn just managed to close the gap quite substantially within the last 3 to 4 laps that we've seen. That's insane.
That is insane. It's going to be a double race win for our rookie. Wow. And I got a feeling he's popping up in bronze class later as well, so that'll be exciting to watch.
Yeah, let's hope he can keep this performance up for the next 3 rounds, I think. As if he's this consistent as fast as he is. If he's as consistent as he is fast. I was trying to find the words to put that sentence together. Yeah, if he is as consistent as he is fast, then we will definitely see him in the bronze league, I think.
Yeah.
So Aragon actually losing a lot of ground to him. Does seem like he's a little bit less confident in his car than Shaukat is. Dejan Iranga holding on to P3 there. Gunawan about 1 second behind him. But a very good position for him. In P5, Shavinesh Buanaye. Having a pretty chill race, there's quite a gap between him and P4. Not as much of a gap between him and P6. But he's managing to hold on to it at this point. But of course, you have to talk about the man of the hour here. Raja Amiro Shaukat. Double race win. And the second race, he started from P10.
Wow, really, really great result. He crosses the finish line. That's it, 2 wins in copper, just like that. Well done to him. Samarakun in second, Iranga in third. Gunawan holds on for fourth. And Shavanish there in P5.
We'll have to see if we'll be able to talk to him after the race. Is he on the Zoom call?
Unfortunately, he's not on the Zoom call. Yeah, just such a shame. We'll have to get onto him about being on the Zoom call. Would love to have a few words with him. Let's see if anyone else has said. Yeah, not really at the moment. We'll probably go for a break. We'll just watch a few of the other cars. Oh, someone spins off.
Oh no, that was the very last lap as well. He might just lose a position.
That? Before the finish line as well. I think that was
that would have been Jolly. Oh yeah, he definitely did that.
Oh, the Malaysian and the Sri Lankan car. There he is, coming back across the grass. He crosses the line and he finishes P13. P14 gets pipped at the line.
That is so unfortunate. The race is not over until you cross the finish line. You can't just lose positions like that.
Absolutely. Exciting race indeed. Okay, well, that was great. Damon, some interesting, very interesting races as well. Some interesting performances. Man of the hour, I think, though, Amarul there with a great win. What are your thoughts?
What a start to the round. What a start to the season.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, so we're done with copper. 2 races of copper done. We got bronze coming up right after that, after this, and then silver and gold after that as well. So we'll be right back in about 3 minutes.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. when allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Okay, we are back, guys. Okay, we've just had the Copper Class. Hello and welcome. This is eRacing GP Global Edition 13. We've just had the Copper Classes, 2 exciting races. My name's Alex Young. And with me is Amo Hazik, our stat man. Amo, you were there doing some coaching in Copper Class. What did you think?
The racing was a little bit reprehensible at best at times, but there was some good racing up in front. But from when I was looking at Jen's point of view, she had some promising races, but promising drives in those both races. But unfortunately, because of the incidents, it put paid to any good results. So good overall, but some improvement might be needed.
Yeah. Okay. Just to remind the viewers, we this is round 1 of 4, Global Edition 13, and we're at Barcelona this weekend. We are at the MotoGP track. Amo, you chose this track. I think that was a really good choice. You want to talk us through it?
Yeah, it's a smidge over 4.5 kilometers with a more traditional layout, shall we say, of the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, because this is a circuit that bypasses that horrible chicane that I think we can almost agree unanimously that everybody didn't like. It is bypassing there, and then, of course, the sharp hairpin at La Caixa, that's where we bypass it. So it's pretty much the Catalunya of old, but we're using what we call now the modern layout with the flowing final sector.
Absolutely. 4.5 kilometers, and let's go and see what's happening on track right now. We're on the bronze class, and bronze class is exciting because we love racing GT3 cars. We race GT1 and GT2 cars for gold and silver later on, but for bronze right now, we're in GT3. One of the cars we love.
Yeah, absolutely. This car class has been a venerable staple in real-world racing, especially given the fact that some other GT rule sets have fallen by the wayside. This one has been evergreen since 2006, so yeah, it provided good racing last season. That's why we have no other choice but to just go with this, and pretty much been vindicated with it.
Yeah. Ramdani, quickest in practice at the moment. I mean, how important is practice? Is it important?
Definitely very, very sure that it's very important, especially given the fact that Ramdani actually goes through the old layout, so I think he's just trying to fool with the camera on this particular occasion. That's not the right way, bruv. You do not want to go through that for the actual race and go straight to pit lane. Maybe he wanted to avoid some traffic, but that's quite cheeky from Ramdani.
Giving us some entertainment as well. Let's see who else is out there. Iman Ryan there. He's P2. He's in the Audi, just stopping on track. Everyone will be finishing their runs right now as they're getting ready for qualifying. Another Amaral Afik there up in P4. He's in the pit lane as well. Yeah, be quite interesting to see. It is a new edition, new season, Global Edition 13. No one really knows who's going to be quick, except for sure. I think we expected Ramdani to be quick. We saw he was quick last year. Who else will be quick? Malik Fakro will be quick.
Jaden Chia, actually. Jaden, I'm really looking out for because I've been doing some league races with him in one of our Singapore leagues. He is very fast, especially in prototypes and GTs, so he'll be one to watch out for. Probably he's just keeping his powder dry, but Ramdani and Ryan up in front showing the way, 43.6 and 8 respectively, with Jaden Chia being the only other one in the 43s, a 43.9.
Yeah, absolutely. So some new drivers coming up from Copper as well. I think quite a few drivers up there. Oh, Satya one would be interesting to watch as well. Is Lavendish here as well? Or was it Chavanish? Yeah, Lavendish is here as well. Good. He was 13th in practice. So he was the Copper class winner from the previous season. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. It's always interesting when drivers make a step up, isn't it? You wonder if they can adapt. Some drivers adapt straight away. Some drivers take a few races to get up to speed.
Yep, and the other guy who made a jump from Copper is Adam Daniels, who finished second last season in the Copper class. He is there in the top 20, P12, as we are now counting to qualifying, which starts right about now.
Okay, let's go on board. Who shall we watch as they come out the pit lane right now? Do you want to watch with Jaden Chia, or shall we... I don't know.
I think we'll go with Jaden as the first one. But then Chester Lam also jumped in front of the queue. Amir Rafiq in between there. There's Jaden in the Porsche. We'll see another of these Porsches also in the gold and silver class after this. If anyone's been watching through the social media posts, you know what I'm talking about after this when we see the creme de la creme come through. But that'll be after this. We'll see if the first of the main courses provide anything to offer. With the GT3 cars out in full force there, the cars streaming through, coming to the end of the first sector.
And they're all rushing to on the outlap because they want to try and get some clear track to start their actual racing lap. And you can see, gosh, these cars sound so great, don't they? They sound fantastic as they go around the track. This is the outlap, of course, so we haven't even started qualifying yet. See who comes around. There's some Mercs out there, there's some McLaren. We're on board with Amir Rafiq, who's in a red Ferrari, of course. Yeah, it's a great multi-maker class.
Yep, and that's the very reason why this is so successful, because multiple manufacturers have actually pledged their allegiance to this class. And on top of that, we've had great racing because of balanced performance, so it keeps these cars in the window as opposed to having one car just streak away at the front and just dominate the whole thing.
Yep. Rafiq here, yeah, I mean, he was really impressive when he first came on the scene in Copper class, got up to speed really quickly. Made the jump up to bronze. I don't think he's won a race in bronze yet, but
No, he is.
maybe this weekend will be the one time for it.
Yeah, he had a shocker last season as he was trying to adapt to the GT3 cars as opposed to driving the Formula Tatuses that he drove in the very first season he joined. So a bit of a bad tips on fire. Maybe it took a while to learn, but now he's ready to put it to good use here as he and Mali Fakrul are ready to go at it full pelt in the bronze class.
Unfortunately, there's someone that slowed up in front of him just for the start of the lap, so he's got traffic. And he only get 2 laps here, but let's see if he can overtake. He really needs to try and get past his car. No, that's his lap's ruined already.
And that's Adam Daniels. So Adam Daniels not having the best of starts to qualifying as well. He is really struggling in the muck. In fact, he's going to get overtaken by Amir Rafiq, so that's really not boding well for him.
Okay, so Rafiq needs to try and get this clear track and move out in front because they will get another chance for a clear lap, but he gets bumped.
Yep.
Stays in front though. He's got to try and stay in front because he wants to get a clear lap for the next lap.
But then he's got 2 other cars right behind him, ready to go at it, and they've hit each other as well, so that's literally going at it. So Amir Rafiq then managed to make a beeline for it, but only just.
Yeah, this won't be a good lap for any of these cars, and we'll see who comes strong later. Let's have a look further up the field. Ramdani's on a well, not on a great lap, I would say, but on a lap.
Yep, and these are of course banker laps, so Cameron James being the pace setter initially, but we'll wait and see first whether he's going to get a really good lap out of it or he needs another one. And he's one of those drivers that for 2 consecutive seasons he has finished 3rd in his class, so last season's bronze, 3rd place. In fact, he did finish 3rd place in another class prior to that too, so it shows that he really has the pace, but it's just that sometimes luck deserts him when he needs it most. So really he wants to put things together here and put it right in his 3rd time round.
Okay, across the line. That's Cameron James just ahead of him. He goes a 44.5. Ramdani goes across the line with a 43.6, but Ryan, wow, 43.5.
And that is a 10th faster than Ramdani, so Ramdani goes straight ahead for another lap. Ryan goes straight back to the pit lane, so that's actually quick of him. He really wants to get a quick turnaround, and the turnaround has to be really, really quick so that he could get the outlap in and straight on for another qualifying run. So, yep, there we go. He's back out of the pits, from the pits, but he might be going to a stream of traffic.
Okay, who else shall we look for there? Let's look at Jaden Chia. He's down in P6. Not great, get a great first lap, but one more lap coming up after this.
And it will be the only lap. In fact, I think he could probably sneak in a 3rd lap after this because he is right in that ballpark. But yeah, he can. He can definitely do another run in this particular session. But for the time being anyway, Jaden then has Amir Rafiq right in front. So that's not going to help his cause unless, of course, he can use a bit of a draft.
Yeah, so it wasn't a very tidy turn of 5 there from Jaden either. So I don't think this is going to be front row pace. Another driver up further, we'll just have a look at him in a while. Jaden, Cameron James is up in P5 as well. Let's not forget, he finished P2 with Jim Kano at the Motorsport Championship as well.
Shows that he has the speed in the real world and in the virtual world. Plus, he can do it on tarmac and on dirt because he was one of the finalists in the FIA Rally Stars on the old WRC game prior to the brand new one that's going to come out here. So he's got anything 4 wheels with him, he knows how to do with it.
Right, so doesn't quite get the last corner right. That's going to cost him a chunk of time. Oh, he won't be happy with that. Goes across the line. Does he improve? No. Bad lap by Cameron James. Gymkhana specialist doesn't go quicker. Ramdani also doesn't go quicker. Wow.
Yep, but he's got at least another lap to go through because he is still out on track. As a couple of the cars go in the background, there's a big one there further behind, and Audi goes into the gravel trap coming into New Holland as Ima Ryan leaves the other cars to go by his side on his right-hand side and go straight ahead to his qualifying run. So there it is. There's the Audi in question. Nearly cuts back on him.
Wow, he's calculated this perfectly. Goes across the line with only a couple seconds to spare. He will just about get a chance to start a lap, but he's got some traffic in front of him. I don't know. Might be able to finish this.
I think he can, yes, just about, because he really timed that to perfection. So at least he's got one more lap in him to do it, but it's going to be do or die here because it's just one lap to be able to make it through. And Ramdani as well, likewise, still on that final lap of his. So the times may not be final for the time being as, whoa, that's one car on the road, stopped in the middle of it. It's a Mercedes, so that might have been Chris Chu because he's the only one running in the older Mercedes.
Okay, we're watching, trying to have a look at his split times. Not coming up at the moment, but he is on pole, so he's looking quite comfortable at the moment. Don't think any Ramdani in P2.
Yeah, Ramdani P2 Ramadan, Ferdi Ramadan, in fact, that he was impressed seeing last time out in Endurance Edition, driving the BWS. Ryan goes for a four-wheel slide there. Luckily, the rear wheels only just touched the grass once and managed to keep it together. He kept it flat. You can tell by that. He didn't lift off for a second, but if that might affect his lap times. Other drivers have crossed the line as well. Chester Lum's in fourth, so that's 2 points for him. Amir Rafiq with a good time, a 44.2. He is in fifth. Cameron James is in sixth. And there's a bit of a change up there as well. Jaden Chia goes up to P3. So Jaden Chia takes the 3 points there, and that will be his final lap in qualifying. Imarayan coming out to the final sector now. Will he be able to improve? It looked a bit scrappy, especially in that middle sector, coming up to turn number 9. Onto the final corner then. Will it be an improvement? And it's a big slide again onto the gravel, and that's it. There goes his improvement, and that will be that. But he's still on pole position.
Hello, I'm back.
Hi, back.
Oh, wow. That was quite an insane qualifying session there. Iman Ryan had a sound strategy for the very last lap that he tried to do. Unfortunately, didn't pay off for him near the very end. But he still secures P1. And as we're going in to start the very first of our race for bronze class, there's a lot of drivers to look out for.
Yeah, especially Jaden Chia. Again, I had to point that out because he is quite blisteringly fast. So that's not indicative of what he could do, especially given the fact that this is his first time in the RGP. So keep an eye out for him. Riemann Ryan, of course, he was actually impressive towards the end of last season in the bronze category. Ramdani as well. He was the only one of two drivers who was promoted a class mid-season, so you can tell how fast he is in that regard. It's actually quite a tight field, about 1 second separating first to seventh.
Yeah, it looks like BMWs are heading most of the pack in front, actually. It must be a very good car to drive. Of course, if you were watching from the Copper League, you will know these GT3 cars are substantially faster than the MX-5 Cup cars that we were witnessing earlier. About 600 horsepower around these cars. And very high amounts of downforce coming from their aero.
Absolutely. And 500 to 600, depending on which car has it and homologation keeping into account. But of course, BOP has kept these cars in place, so we don't see a single make running away with it. Yes, we see 3 BMWs in the top 4, but make no mistake, that Porsche behind is actually quite a good piece of kit. And don't discount out any of the Audis and Ferraris as well, making an impact here as we are coming into the final minute of prep. The drivers are no doubt trying to find how much fuel they had to put in the car. They can't change the tires, of course, because you can see the M on the side of the tire there. That's medium tires on everybody, so they have to keep it standard as per usual.
Yeah, Jaden Chia here impressing everyone in the Porsche 911 GT3 car. There's not much left to say other than let's see what happens here. We've had a bunch of very fun racing happen in the last league. Of course, Copper League, very intense driving. And in bronze, the cars are much faster. Maybe we'll see some more chaos. Hopefully not. Let's make it a very safe turn 1.
Well, don't jinx it, of course. You might have spoken too soon there. As per usual, we've done so in many times in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just knock on a lot of wood. That does not become the case. As we're looking at the onboard with Amir Rafiq, he's got 6 cars right in front of him. As the red lights now come on for the first time of this brand new season, then let's see. Let's go on board with Imarayan. Lights are on, and when they go out, we are going to be underway for the first time in bronze for Global Edition 13, and we are go. That's a good start there for Kanzani Ramdani, in fact. So Ramdani had a good second phase to the start, but it looks as though the pull from Imarayan's just enough to keep him ahead as they come out to turn 1 then. Ryan on the outside, Ramdani on the inside as the field fan out, stream into turn 1. Ramdani gets the whole shot. Ryan goes to P2. And then P3 is Ferdi Ramadan as the rest of the field now comes stream through. It looks as though we have a couple of cars off in the background there. But overall, it is actually a good start, Damon.
Yeah, Kamzani Ramdani taking advantage of his amazing launch to just barely pull ahead of Imar Ryan there. Actually, both of these cars... Oh no! I spoke too soon. Imar Ryan gets tagged and spins out.
Yeah, and he better rejoin properly, unlike what happened last time in Watkins Glen. So at least he watches through. Yeah, but the thing is, at least he gets the whole field sighted.
Where did that car come from?
There's a BMW right in front of him, so it might have been Audi Devanugraha right behind. But apart from that, the little skirmishes that happened, that was a good first couple of corners at least.
Yeah. Well, not for Imar Ryan. No, he got knocked down from P2 to I think that's P20.
Yep, P20.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Jaden was involved in that one. That was a bit of a haphazard overtaking maneuver from that particular BMW. As we are looking at Novel Setia one, that's actually on camera right now. That's a very cool sim rig that he's got there, actually.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring our car back to the pits just in case we end up being an obstacle on the road, just so. Yeah, and now we're back onto the action there. Yeah, you can see here, Kazani Randani, the biggest benefactor of that kerfuffle early on. I say that as he almost goes for a 4-wheel slide there, just putting all 4 of his tires on the curb.
And remember, he's done that already in qualifying. Now we're going back to Nova Setia one. This is what we were talking about earlier when we mentioned he had a very cool rig. That is a rig and a half, in fact. He doesn't even need a TV screen. He's actually wearing some VR goggles. And he's not based in Indonesia now. He's actually in Australia.
Yeah, I don't want to think about how much that thing would cost to build here. I can already hear my wallet bleeding out in pain. But amazing rig, amazing setup from him. You can see he's smiling right now. He's having fun already. I can see that.
Absolutely. And speaking of fun, that's Malik Fakrul actually going in front of Alfiko Askar. And I think another car went off there. That was actually Raja Amiro Shaukat. So he went off big time coming into turn 1. And luckily for Malik, he managed to avoid that and is up to the top 10. So that's a good start for the man who was runner-up in the championship in Global Edition 11.
Yeah, Raja Miro Shaukat, of course, very fast driver in the Copper League. Ended up being boosted up to the Bronze League here. Having a bit of trouble adjusting, I think, so far, but I think he will be able to adapt quite quickly there. Amir Harris in the BMW Z3 passing the Audi in front of it. Alfiko Askar still trying to make a pass happen. Actually does seem to make it stick this time. Askar gave him a little bit of space and he took that opportunity quite big. What's the word I'm looking for? Quite eagerly.
Yep, and he will be eagerly wanting to fight back. There is Alfiko Askar, but looks like the BMW has enough of a grunt against the Audi to just pull away that time. So battles all around the circuit as we're looking at a couple of further behind there. That's Issa Fuad, one of the guys that impressed before, and he goes through on the inside of the Hatsune Miku BMW, and there's plenty more where that came from, I think. There's another driver involved. That might have been Imar Ryan, in fact. So Imar Ryan's coming back through the field.
Yeah, Imar Ryan has a tall order in front of him. He's back up in P16 now. Actually went past someone. I'm not sure which Audi that was that went by the side of the road, but that gives him time and a position there. He's trying to make a pass on Yusufu. What does get the toe on the start-finish straight here. Will he be able to get the pass done before turn 1? He looks like he has the inside line right now. Coming into turn 1.
Round the outside goes Askar for the defense. Oh, no, in fact, that's Issa Fuad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yes.
Yeah, it's Issa Fuad in for... No, it's Issa Fuad, yeah, he is fighting, so Issa Fuad manages to get by there. And I was looking at the other car that stopped, that was actually Ferdi Ramadan. So Ferdi Ramadan, who was up in front, now falls all the way to 18th. So he had a penalty, probably corner car penalty somewhere there. He had to slow completely and let the field by.
Yeah, definitely looks like it. I can see one random GTR on the field. I think that's the only GTR I've seen on the grid so far. I wonder who's driving that one. Sherman's saying that in the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3 car. Very nice car indeed, but does seem to not be as competitive as the other cars so far, even with BOP.
Yeah, in fact, that's kind of like the price to pay for Nissan being unable to commit to programs outside of Japan. So the car is not as well developed as in front of Amiro Shaukat. That's Jason Thong having a big moment there. Coming around the outside, he goes. And does he make the move stick? Jason's on the inside. And Jason just defends enough to prevent Raja Amiro from overtaking him.
Yeah, he had to brake a little bit early there because he didn't have the right line. Jason took the opportunity and kept his lead in front. But I don't think Shaukat is done with his attack just yet there in the McLaren GT3 car.
Yep, and they're going to come through the final sector here. Thank God we're bypassing that chicane because it is actually awful. It doesn't provide anything apart from just getting people to be a bit agitated. Now we're actually looking at Jason Thong here. Is he going to be overtaken? Let's see, coming across the start-finish line now. In fact, if anything, it looks like Iman Ryan's under huge pressure from Raja Amiro Shaukat. Oh, in fact, he overtook Raja Amiro and he is up to P12. So good recovery drive from the man who was up there in the top 3 before he got unceremoniously dumped in the dirt. But he's back up into P12. Sorry, not back out to P12. He's up to P12, nearly up to the top 10. Oh, big slide. Massive slide there. And again, he's really pushing it.
Yeah. Shaukat actually got a really good run up there. Actually carried quite a lot of speed to there. Wasn't able to make the pass stick onto Iman Ryan. And they are jostling for, I think this is P11 right now. Oh! That was an incident.
Yep, Shaukat lost it by himself. And can he recover? Yes, he can. But unfortunately, that puts paid to any sort of points-paying positions for him. He's on the cusp a bit. In fact, Ferdy Ramadan is just outside of that. But if Ferdy gets him, that's it. He has to start from P16 and no points.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the front of the field there because I think I see a battle happening between battle for P2 here with Jaden and Chester there. About 1 second separating them. Kazani Ramdani, of course, comfortably ahead by about 4 seconds. But there is a bit of a challenge for second place right now. I saw the gap was quite narrow earlier. Did extend to about a second just as we panned the camera towards them. But of course, it's only a second. There's definitely time to be made up.
Yep. And we're going to see... we're going to jump back to Nava Setia 1. Let's see how he is. And in fact, there he is. He's right behind Lavinesh Mohane by about 0.3 of a second. Coming up now to the start-finish straight. Can the power that BMW versus the other BMW power his way through? So, around the outside he goes. We're going to pan it on to the outside. Late braking and nearly makes it through. Naval was really brave on the brakes, but Lavinesh even more so. He manages to hang on to P6 just about by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, almost closing the door on Naval there. Almost not being able to make that pass happen. I could have sworn very small gap between a clean pass and an incident between these two cars right now. Of course, very equally matched. Lavinesh, our Copper League winner last season, is now in Bronze League. Driving very well, in fact.
Very well. In fact, he has come...
Oh, Naval! He's just gone off!
Oh, nearly hit. It was a half spin, but luckily, Adam Daniel manages to clear him. And, well, you were waxing lyrical about Naval, and now he ended up in a half spin.
I should stop talking. That's just how it is. I can't say anything about a certain driver and then not have him cause an incident within 5 seconds of me saying things.
Well, then, that's commentator's blight at its finest, and luckily for him, it wasn't a big spin into the gravel trap. Otherwise, he would have lost even more time. A half spin, only lost 1 position at least. Now, let's focus on other battles. That's Iman Ryan actually continuing his recovery drive around the outside of Jason Thong. Oh, no! Oh, that... And as I said about recovery drives, he's going to have to recover it back again.
Oh, that's another 2 cars that's passed him. I think he just went down from P12 to, I think that's P14. Or 15.
No, even worse than that. It might have been... No, it's just in front of P15 because that's for the Ramadan behind him. And Chris Chu in the older SLS. So that's at least a barometer of how many cars that's overtaken him. But, yeah, there we go. P15 just in front of Chris Chu. That is a disastrous way to start it. And I believe top 10 is the one that we reverse grid. So that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, so unless he can make up 5 positions in the next 5 minutes, he's still going to be starting from P15 the next race. So he has a tall ask of him. We're on Jason Thong right now in the AMG GT3 car. Yeah, if you look at Jason's camera right now, you can see that he's driving an invisible steering wheel with a disembodied torso behind him.
Yep. That's probably his inner spirits looking over him and just willing him on, I guess. But yeah, that's really quite daunting, isn't it, to have somebody behind you watching you the whole time. But either way, Jason survives another day to drive still in the points, but only just 4 points for his showing and 2 positions off from potentially a pole position in the reverse grid.
Yeah, an important thing to consider, of course, this is a bronze league, so drivers are very much susceptible to pressure, especially if they're being hounded by a car behind them. These drivers are likely to make mistakes. Very prone to make mistakes, actually, as we can see from the races.
Oh, say that! You say that! You just said it! And there is the susceptibility of that in particular era coming from. And Jason, he survived a couple laps ago from that big slide, which allowed cars behind him to get him. But now he has actually fallen prey to that particular mistake, Damon.
The caster curse strikes again. Jason Thorne just loses control of a car by himself, being hounded by, I think that was, yeah.
No, he lost it himself.
Yeah.
He may have touched the curb coming into turn 9 and lost it. Luckily, well, in fact, it wasn't lucky for him that he struck the barriers, but luckily he didn't get collected by other cars.
Yeah. This is why I turn on traction control almost all the time. I'm scared of stuff like this happening.
Well, traction control, it can be a blessing and a curse if given the fact that if you lose the car, the traction control kicks in, you still lose it anyway.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
But if you have the traction prior to that preventing your car from completely spinning, then yes, that is a good thing to have.
Yeah. Emma back in P12 from his incident there. Hopefully he doesn't lose it again this time. He seems to be running in clean air. Doesn't seem to have any opposition just behind him. Of course, I think Sherman Singh and Ferdy Ramadan are right behind him, actually.
In fact, yeah, by about 8/10 to 7/10. So he managed to get back 2 positions after that particular spin that he had right about here. In fact, it was further up. It was
a bit
the
further up, yeah.
Yeah, battle with Jason, but he spun there in the first lap after being on pole position. So he really is showing his pace. But it's just unfortunate he never got to fully show it because of the accidents.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. I don't think he'll be able to crawl. We got about 3 minutes left in this first race there. He's having to make out 2 positions to make it into the top 10 and then start on P1 is a very tall ask. Whether or not he'll be able to achieve it does remain to be seen unless a catastrophic mistake happens to the drivers in front of him. Saying that, however, I shouldn't say anymore.
Yeah. But, you know, we gotta keep talking about something somehow, and then otherwise we'll be just a bunch of dead air. So we're looking at Amir Harris right now. 7/10 of a second behind Nauva Satyawan, and Nauva probably knows that he's there because he can just look around the mirrors in VR to see where he is.
Yeah, and there's an immersion factor that you get when you just drive in VR. You don't have to constantly shift your vision. You're always going to be there. But on the flip side, of course, you do tend to, maybe you might get distracted sometimes here. You can see Amir Harris just behind Nauva Satyawan. A bit shaky on the loose end of the car right now as he comes out the first 2 corners.
Yeah, rear end's a little bit loose, but I think for the most part, because of traction control being mandated completely for these cars, it's not a complete loss of control. Yeah, we saw it sometimes from other drivers, but it's probably because they touch the curb at very high speeds. Where the car starts breaking traction control kicks in, they just lose it.
Yeah, in and out, and he just couldn't find the strength to hold the car into a position where they could collect it afterwards. That also ends up being a thing. I know I've experienced it myself as well. Not being able to collect the car because I just couldn't fight the steering enough to keep it straight. That's always a consideration to have. Nauva Satyawan seems to be managing to keep the car under control right now, but of course, Amir Harris is hot on his heels, and in fact, the gap has closed since we panned to them.
Yep. In fact, it's about 4/10 of a second. I was looking at another 2/10 there. Haikal Harris is chasing after Odi Devanugraha. We can look at that particular battle after this, but the battle between the 2 BMWs is heating up here, coming into the final lap of the race. Kanzadeh Ramdani has not been on our screens lately because he's just been streaking it away. 3 seconds in front of Jaden Chia and coming to the final lap. So really then those 2 guys are going to be the main protagonists for this particular round. Coming around the final corner then to start their final lap will be Nauva Satyawan and Amir Harris. 5/10 second, 4 even. That's a very poor exit from Nauva. If anything, he's going to let Harris come to the back of him. There he is, hooking onto his rear bumper. Nauva sees him, throws the block, but he goes around the outside. Can he go the long way around here? Coming to turn 1, late on the brakes, And he just couldn't make it.
Too late on the brakes, didn't get a good entry there. He swerved alongside Naval City 1 to try and catch as much of the draft as possible before he made that corner. But he just couldn't clear it. He just wasn't fast enough and ended up paying for it in turn 1.
Yeah, he lost a bit of time there, as you can see. The other, not Harris, but Ariz, chasing after the nicely liveried Audi Devanugraha with the Hatsune Miku Good Smile livery.
Yeah, again, wonderful livery. Love the car. I loved it in Super GT as well. Every time I see it come on. Of course, not in a great position is Devanugraha right now. Devanugraha, yes, in P14. On the other flip side though, Kazani Ramdani on his final lap had a really comfortable run. Despite the fact that the gap between him and Jaden is narrowing, it's not enough for him to lose the lead, I would say.
Yep. Unless of course you jinx that particular instance, he comes through the final corner.
You better start touching that wood right now.
Nah, he's safely through. He is absolutely safe. Ooh, bit of a slide there coming into it. Just about catches it. Coming around the final corner. And Ramdani then crosses the line to take victory. He turns on his wipers instead of his lights across the line, but whichever works as long as the car looks happy. Is it the final lap already? Oh, in fact, just about the final lap. So he turned on the celebrations a bit too soon. So at least he kept going, I guess.
Yeah.
In fact,
yeah, it was already the end. He crossed the line after the timer went to 0. So definitely he's probably just going on his parade lap right now, celebrating his win. Kamsani Radani, of course, very fast driver.
Yep. Rest of the field coming through then. Jaden Chia second, Chester Lam third, Cameron James fourth, Amir Afiq fifth. So that's a very good way to start the season. And his teammate is in P10. That's Malik Fakrul. So don't mind the timing squeeze, I think, because it's a bit jumbled up right now. We're waiting for the final classifications. When we see the reverse grid, that will be the day that will be the confirmation of who finished where in that particular instance. But great race overall, Damon.
Yeah, and after the intense chaos that was the Copper League, it's nice to see similar amounts of chaos in the Bronze League as well. Again, great start to the season for both of these leagues so far. We're about to go on to race 2, of course, just to see how these drivers handle themselves in the reverse grade order, of course. Kamsani Radani will be starting P10 next race.
Yep. And likewise, Jaden Chia will be on the same row as him, row number 5 in P9. Chester and Cameron will be in front of them. Then Amir Rafi and Lavinesh. The Adam Daniel, despite a bit of early woes for him, he manages to finish in P7 in front of Naval Satyawan. So Satyawan manages to hang on to that just about by 600 of a second in front of Amir Harris. And Malik Fakrul picking up the final position, not final points making position, but final position to be in the reverse grid P1 by finishing 10th. Behind them, Isa Fuad, Ima Ryan, Ferdi Ramadan, Odi Devanugraha in the Hatsune Miku livery car P14th, and Haikal Aris finishing 15th, taking the final points.
Yeah, unfortunately for Raja Amir Shaukat, didn't manage to hold on to the car well enough, ended up in P18, so he does have a pretty tall ask of him. Ima Ryan as well had a very unfortunate race 1. Unfortunately, couldn't make top 10, so he couldn't make the reverse grid order as well, so he will be starting in P12, of course. And aside from that, well, I guess it's just really trying to figure out what's going to happen in race 2 here. Any predictions?
Nah, it's gonna be the usual, isn't it? Just the absolute frenetic type of racing that we've come to expect, especially in the bronze category, because bronze always provides some great racing. Yes, granted, we had a bit of a runaway leader in this one, but make no mistake, with the reverse grid coming up, it's gonna be just as frenetic, or not even more, because the fast guys are starting in the midfield.
Yeah, so we'll be getting all the cars onto the field in about 30 seconds time, and then we have about 2 minutes before the race actually starts. Comments on the cars so far?
Yeah, it's just like what we had last season. It was very good racing that time around, especially with the GT3s, giving us some really close quarters combat, and it's the same case again. Only this time, we just had some really fast guys showing the way of how it's done.
Yeah. Honestly, really great stuff to see. The fast guys are definitely fast, and it's kind of unfortunate as the cars are now coming onto the grid. We're getting ready, of course, for race 2, reverse grid. And you can see already in the list, Sherman saying that
Oh no, he's not. He's not. On
Oh,
pole
he's not.
position.
Yeah.
So that would be Malik Fakrul in pole
Yep.
position. Yep. In fact, there he is on the front of the grid. So let's see how that looks like behind him. Yep. That's quite daunting when you have 24 other cars right behind ready to do battle with him. So he'll be sitting quite nicely there. Let's look at the view of race 1 winner, Kazari Ramdani. How it looks like behind him. Yep. Just as daunting, isn't it? He has to make way behind those other cars. As we now jump into the race, let's see how it goes in full screen. How we look like. Yep. Can you imagine that? You're gripping the wheel. You find out that you just won the race, but now you're in P10. You have to make it all to do in the second race.
Yeah, you definitely have an uphill battle on your hands, but if anyone can do it, I think Ramdani, it has the potential to make that happen. He's one of the fastest drivers we have on the grid, of course. Does have a little bit of competition this time around. But
Indeed.
let's see whether or not he buckles under pressure, which I don't believe he will.
On the other side of the same row as him in P9, that's Jaden Shah. That's his view. He's on the proverbial cleaner side of the road where there's enough rubber being laid on there. I mean, it is at optimum range, so 100% grip on the track. That would be his ideal way to start. Guys who are on the left-hand side of the screen, they'll be looking to see if they could get at least a better launch because they know full well that the dirtier side, yes, these tracks kind of evolve, especially with the rubber being laid on. That's where they do not want to be at. They're gonna really struggle to start. Now, the lights will come out very soon. We're gonna go straight to Malik Fakrul, who's in pole position here. As the lights come onto gantry, 6 on our end, but it's normally 5. And when they go out, we'll be underway for the second race here in Bronze Global Edition 13. And we're underway, and that's a really poor start actually from Malik. If anything, he crawled a bit to the side, but manages to get a better second phase and gets it into P1 and the whole shot into the first corner, Damon.
Yeah, here we go into turn 1. Let's see if he manages to hold on to it. You can see that I think Amir Harris just went in for the dive there. Manages to get a pass out, but goes wide. Ends up tapping Malik Fakrul on the side. Manages to collect the car, keep it under control, flashing his lights there to signify his disapproval of that move.
Yeah, and then speaking of moves, we saw Amir Rafiq actually was on the inside of Malik Fakrul, so that's 2 teammates in completely separate cars, but teammates either way, nearly coming a cropper as Amir Harris then under, well, in fact, he was in front. He's trying to pressure, re-pressuring Malik Fakrul further behind. There's some couple of cars spinning around, including Jason Tong, and that's behind him, Oliver Kelly. Another Bosch rear into the rear. That's Hendra Kasuma, I think. Yep, Hendra Kasuma whacked into the side of Jason Tong. So Jason Tong's round got from bad to worse. But we can't focus on that too much. We gotta go up in front. Malik Fakrul gets back the lead of the race and only just in front of Amir Harris. Harris then looking very antsy right behind the Porsche. This is game on here on lap number 1.
Oh, very close fight, very close dog fight happening between these top 2 cars right now. As just we mentioned that turn 9 coming up right now does seem to keep the lead. Amiro Afi just behind him in the Ferrari. So now this is a 4-way battle for P1. It looks like Nawal Satyawan in P4 just behind these cars, waiting for an opportunity to strike right now. Unfortunately, Amiro Afi, I think he just went wide.
Oh, where did he go? I think he might have. Yep, he went a bit wide, but he didn't lose a position. Now he does. He got overtaken by a fast charging Nawal Satyawan. Satyawan on the inside. And Amir Rafi goes around the outside, manages to keep on to it. So, great particular move there. Oh, big accident. Big accident. I think we might have forgotten to move the camera car there.
Oh, no, that is... Oh boy.
Yep. We better restart that particular instance as now we... particular battle there has been rescinded, so we probably had to restart the race here.
Yeah, we might have to there. That was a... oversight, I think, on our end. We didn't manage to bring the camera car back into the pits.
Yep, and well, that's a bit unfortunate there. And this time the car was actually on the right-hand side of the circuit, left-hand side of the circuit that caused that particular problem. So where is everybody in relation to that one? As up in front, that's Malik Fakrul then still ahead of this particular battle.
It's very easy to get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, it does. And a couple of cars being taken out there. I think we might just have to restart this particular race because there are a couple of drivers getting taken out there. Plus, on top of the mayhem that happened at the first race, there's definitely a restart that's being needed, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Does seem that we're going to have to come to that decision a bit later on, but these cars are still on track right now. Amir Harris, the biggest benefactor of that incident, staying in P1. Amar Afiq just behind him. Malefacro still holding on to third place actually, so you didn't lose too much. A considerable amount, yes, but didn't lose too much.
Yep. And, well, the second and third place drivers are teammates. That's Amir Rafiq and Mali Fakrul, so at least they benefited from that particular kerfuffle. Big fracas as well at the start that happened further behind, so at least luckily then, they're going in the right direction, but I think we just might have to go and see whether or not we can restart this particular juncture. In fact, yep, race has been restarted. So, really then, that was actually quite nail-biting, isn't it? To see the cars going through the start finish line, whether or not they can make it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get the cars back on grid in the positions that they started in. Of course, we're going to have to
go to a quick commercial break, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait for a bit. They're still in the race, apparently.
In fact, let's see. Where is everybody in relation to that particular instance?
Yeah, we're still voting on a restart. We'll see if drivers are...
No, in fact, they are still out on track even. So, and we lost a bit of audio, I think, with the race. But yeah, we'll just go to the ads first. We'll be right back after a short commercial break.
Okay, we're back here. It does seem like the race is continuing on. The vote didn't manage to go through. So we're going to be in this position right now. So we'll just do our best to commentate as we go along. Looks like Mali Fakrul actually lost a couple of positions there.
And in fact, Amir Rafi as well has lost touch with Amir Harris. He was up in first position just now. The live timing is a bit... it's a bit on the fritz right now, actually, I think, because it's still trying to sort out who's in first and who's in second. But yeah, there we go. Finally, we're back. We got it back on. Amir Rafi in first. Second is Amir Harris by 2 seconds, and Chester Lam in third.
Let's not get hung up on this right now. We still have Amir Rafi in a very comfortable position in front. Amir Harris, I may have made a couple of mistakes or two that gave Amir Rafi the considerable lead that he has. We go on here to Jaden Shah, having a battle with Luqmanul Hakim in the Audi R8 LMS GT3 right now.
Yeah, Jaden didn't have the best of starts. In fact, I think he was the one that also whacked one of the cars on the grid there, so that's why he's got a broken windscreen, but he still carry on regardless.
Okay, in front of him, Iman Rayyan, now in P10. Bit of a comfortable position for him, of course, but not for long. I think Jaden Shah is coming up on him quite quickly. Gap is narrowing as he clears Luqmanul Hakim and is now on the attack for that P10 position.
Yeah, in fact, that will be the last point scoring positions in this particular race, because race 2 only goes up to P10 as we look at Kanzani Ramdani, race 1 winner.
Yeah, saw him go a bit loose on that left-hand bend right there, but does seem to keep it under control. Coming out to Mali Fakrul now, trying to make a pass happen. Does have a better exit too there. Might be able to make a pass happen just before Catalonia. No, doesn't seem like he's not clear enough, but he is in the tow, as we can see right now. Mali Fakrul trying to be a bit of a blocker there, but because the BMW is just too fast down the straight there, makes the pass happen. Will he be able to make it stick as they come into turn 1 right now? Very well clear of Mali Fakrul. Ooh, just cut him off right there.
Yeah, around the outside he goes, manages to make it through. So the BMW, despite looking slightly scuffed, still has enough of the advantage on the straights to get by the Porsche, and that's P6 for race 1 winner. Looking very healthy right now, especially with the amount of points he's collecting.
Yeah, very good spot for him. Of course, Amir Rafiq actually also in a pretty good position. I think he also finished within the top 10 last race. Of course, race 2 doesn't grant you as much points as race 1, but you'll still be happy in the position, isn't it?
Absolutely, given the fact that they with the race 1 win, and I presume fastest lap of the race, he will be having a good haul of points. So regardless, he'll be happy to just get some points in the second race and just carry on with it.
Yeah. So for the rest of these drivers right now, what are they looking for? How well do they want to finish in the positions that they are right now? I know Chester right now. Chester is in third place, third position. Same as he was last race as well. So he's just cruising along. I think he's in a very good spot.
Yeah, he is in a very good spot right now, especially given the fact that it'll be more consistent compared. You can hear the pop-off, the blowback from the exhaust popping there, coming out of there into the second to last corner. That's really nice detail from the Assetto Corsa game. Out of the final corner then, onto the start-finish straight. Let's see whether or not he has a good drive out of there. No. In fact, Chester gets a better run out of it and manages to hang on to P3, only for the time being.
Yeah, but Ferdi Ramadan has the toe. Looks like he's swerving to make the pass happen. Into turn 1, does get the inside track. Chester cannot concede it, doesn't want to concede it just yet, but it looks like he might just have to. Ferdi came into that corner really fast.
Yeah, Ferdi just snatches away third place out of him. So, if anything, we thought that he might have had a run on him and another time, but Chester looks as though he got an even worse run out of that final corner and manages to get passed by Ferdi Ramadan. So Ramadan then with the power on the straights, even with a slightly scuffed car.
Yeah, so we have to keep an eye out. This race, this battle for this position is far from over. We've got about 5 minutes left in race 2 here. Just behind him, of course, Isa Fuad in the Audi R8. Behind him, Kazani Ramdani still on the offensive, about half a second separating him and Isa Fuad. So we'll have to see whether or not he'll be able to make that pass happen within these next couple of laps.
Yeah. But Isa may have to actually watch brief here, because look at that, Chester's fighting against Ferdi again. Ferdi on the attack initially in the final lap previously, but Chester now, he's got the roles reversed, he's ready to fight back.
Yeah, Ferdi on the defense now. We'll see if he'll be able to hold on to this P3 position that he fought so hard to get to. About 4/10 separate these two cars right now. So all that matters is whether or not you get good exit at the start-finish straight, because that is where it seems most of the passes are happening.
In turn 1, yeah, that's pretty much the primary overtaking spot, and it used to be at where turn 10 is, where it used to be a tight hairpin. Now it's there's only one overtaking spot, and that's the first turn. But knowing how some drivers are quite gutsy, especially given some of the fast drivers further behind might just be thinking of doing that, they might just make everything give it anybody they want, as Ramdani then up to the back of Isa Fuad. So it's a 4-way battle for P3 here.
Yeah, but the gap between P5 and P3 is still quite a big amount, so we're not too worried about that just yet. This battle for P3 right now, Chester is losing out quite a bit. Ferdi seems to have better exits on the corners there, despite the fact that Chester is very aggressive on the entry.
Yeah, if anything, Chester might be losing a bit more time compared to Ferdi if he is not careful on the exit, because most of your time gain is on the exit so they could get a run. And if he gets a poor run out of there, you can see where Ferdi is just pulling away ever so slightly.
Yeah, never forget the age-old adage, slow in, fast out. That is the key to a fast racing driver, and it is the key to unlocking the amount of the speed that you can extract from these cars.
Yep, and in particular GT3 cars with traction control, you gotta have to lean against it a bit so that you can get a better run out of there. You run a very high traction control setting, you're not gonna get much out of it. So you can play around with that, keep it a bit low, but at the same time, you still have to be more delicate with that right foot to make it possible.
Yeah, Ramdani here still behind Isa Fuad, still unable to make a pass happen. The gap has been a consistent 4/10 between these two cars for the past 2 minutes. Ramdani has to try and make a move happen soon, otherwise he was not going to have another chance.
Well, he'll probably have at least 3 laps out of that, maybe more, depending on how much the leader is doing. As we are looking at Chester's view now, let's see if he could actually do the exact same thing as Ferdi Ramadan previously. No, he can't. He's just flashing his lights, letting him know he's there, but he may not be able to overtake.
Yeah, the gap between them is too far for him to get into the toe, unless he's a bit braver on the entry. Of course, you can see that he's also been quite aggressive on the entry. But now, we turn our attention to the battle bit for P1. Amiro Afe, Ame Harris, neck and neck since the beginning of the race.
Yeah, if anything, they're much closer now as they were then. So Amir Afi was having about a 1.5 lead against Amir Harris, but now Harris has managed to claw back a second out of him and ready to engage in battle again.
love the look of the Ferrari as well. The wide body, the nice arrow that it has. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful cars on the field, aside from the McLaren, which I think is my favorite car so far. Amir Harris and the BMW still trying to make a pass happen. It does seem to be quite heavy on the front brake bias.
Yeah, that's why the car kind of steps out a bit, but the brakes glow a bit more. That means he gets to stop better on the front. Yeah, probably he's just sacrificing a bit of rear traction as opposed to just getting the car pointed. Look at that, it's pretty much on its nose coming into it.
Yeah, he wants to get a good launch, a good angle coming out of the corner. And again, a fast exit is paramount to this track, especially because this track has a lot of very fast sections. It's got 2 immensely long straights as well, and into slow corners.
And this is one of those slow corners you were talking about just then, with a 3-way battle for P5, Issa Fuad, Kanzani Ramdani, and Adam Daniel. So, Ramdani and Adam Daniel both used to be very fast drivers in the copper class. Now they're actually mixing it with the fast boys in the bronze category. Ramdani with a good run out of the final corner onto the back of Issa Fuad. There he is on board with the Balapan Random Motorsports guy of Ramdani. Issa Fuad things on the inside, outside again. That would not be fair according to racing. No, not only that, but racing etiquette likewise. That's not really on, isn't it? And Ramdani, to his detriment, has to actually serve that slope penalty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Not only he braked too late, he also ended up swerving. Not very good etiquette here right now, but of course these leagues, these lower leagues, drivers are still holding their race discipline. Sometimes there are things that just elude their attention.
Indeed, and sometimes it's out of our control as well, as, you know, that's how the drivers learn racecraft as well, especially given the fact that this is where they learn everything on the way up to the higher echelons.
Yeah, and we're about to see the upper echelon of these races later on, as we are on our final lap now. Amiro Afik confidently holding the lead. The gap between him and Amir Harris has now extended to over half a second. Doesn't seem like Amir Harris is able to make up that gap. Saying that, however, they're still quite close to each other, so any mistake either way could swing the tides.
Yep, but we're coming to the final 2 corners then. This might just be enough for Amir Afik to hold on to his first win in the bronze category. So it's been a season or so since he's won that, but what a way to do it in race number 2 here in Barcelona. Coming out of the final corner then, it's the Ferrari of Amir Afik across the line, and he takes victory here in front of Amir Harris, Ferdi Ramadan in 3rd, Chester Lam in 4th, and Issa Fuad, no doubt, will be looked into that after his rather questionable defending in 5th place, but he comes across there either way. Adam Daniel 6th, Iman Ryan 7th, posted in race number 1, 8th, Haikal Harris, 9th from Dani after his off, and he had to slow for the penalty then, and 10th, once again, is Mali Fakro somehow.
Starting in P1, now we're back here again. That's unfortunate for Mali Fakro, but he can still rest in the fact that he got a very consistent position, and there is still nothing to shake a skip about.
Yep, you can shake a stake all you want at anything that happened in this race, but take nothing away from what happened to Amir Afik. He managed to benefit from a very good start. Now, he's a race winner once again, and it's been a season since he's done that, but luckily for him, he managed to make it count when it needed most.
And now on screen, of course, with us is Amir Harris. Amir Afik, sorry, yes. We got to have a few words with him after his race win.
Yep, it's Amir able to hear us. He probably needs to unmute his mic.
Yeah, can you hear us, Amir? Oh, we can't hear him.
Oh, that's unfortunate then. I mean, you really want to have your first race win, or rather first race win of the season, and for a long interview, but unfortunately he can't hear us at the moment. No, in fact, I think, yeah, we'll probably need to jump to this one. Particular setting. Can he hear us now? Is Amir Rafi able to hear us?
Okay, he can hear, but can we hear him?
No, it
doesn't seem like we can hear him right now.
I think he's giving the gesticulation there. Oh, well, probably we can talk to him another time. But that's the end of race number 2 in the bronze category. And it provided some really good action, especially given the fact that there's been a lot of movers and shakers in the field. But quite a few drivers will probably be miffed by the fact that some incidents happen that they go their way. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, it is what it is. And of course, there will be a few words that will happen. But, story for another time, of course. We're going to take a short break. But when we come back, silver and gold.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Welcome back. ERGP Season 13. Silver and gold class were on this time around. And just as before, when we jumped from copper to bronze, we're jumping from bronze to silver and gold now, and the cars are upgraded even further.
Absolutely, and it's a two-step class above if you're in the gold class from GT3 to GT1s, in fact. We're looking on screen right now. GT1 and GT2s will be coming up, but before that, here's a look at the circuit that we'll be racing on. As for those who are already familiar with what we were racing just now, is the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, the moto layout as it's called in the game, but officially now it's back to being the proper Grand Prix layout for both F1 cars and MotoGP bikes, where it bypasses that awful chicane in the final sector, and of course, it also bypasses the hairpin at La Caixa that actually opens it up all the way to that final sector.
Yeah, so as a result of that, this track is now faster than it usually is, and that of course means you get to open the taps a bit more with these cars, and these cars are fast, incredibly so. Of course, that also leads to the fact that you have to be much braver when you drive these cars. As we now head on over to the track right now, where these drivers are undergoing their practice session. You can see a few cars on the track right now, a few very beautiful cars, I must add. I can see the Celine S7R right there.
Yep, and we got quite a few drivers who have gone for the extreme option of going for something like the Koenigsegg. Can we see if that is the case? Yep, there it is.
Oh.
It's a fan favorite, all right. It's quite unique to see a boutique car manufacturer like Koenigsegg make a hypercar slash. Well, it's not a hypercar. It was a hypercar on the road, but it's a GT1 car. Unfortunately, it never got to race IRL because of the fact that Formula One, FIA.
Because of that.
Well, not because of that per se, but the regulations changed because they wanted Koenigsegg to make more cars as an example for the road, but it wasn't the case, so they couldn't actually make those set number of cars, and that's why they had to shelve the CCGT. But at least we get to see it race here.
Homologation kind of ruins some cars' chances of competing as well. As Koenigsegg's not a particularly big manufacturer, they don't make that many cars per year, so to have them be forced to homologate a car that they already don't make very much of is kind of like, it's just the nail in the coffin for Koenigsegg. But we are in the Santa Corsa, and as a result of that, we get to see the car race.
Absolutely, and we get to see plenty of cars out on track here. There are some beauties from the recent past, especially the likes of the Ferrari 550, the Koenigsegg CCGT, the Celine S7, and of course on screen right now the E92 BMW M3 GT2.
Yeah. Is that Maranello, 550 Maranello, or GT2 or GT1?
GT1. The 458 we see on screen just right here, that's a GT2. And what Tengku Janlei, the Prince of Drift of Malaysia, is driving,
Of course.
is a BMW. So I think this association is there with Toyota that he drove, especially the 86 that he's famous for.
And aside from Tengku Jan, a very well-known name here in Malaysian motorsports, we also have a bunch of racers that are extremely fast that ended up progressing from, is that Corvette?
Yes, it is. And it's Sacinta Moremada, if I'm mistaken. Yes. So, yeah, you're
Sorry,
actually...
I'm coming back to my point right now.
You're actually gushing at the fact that there's so many good cars on track.
I've not seen these cars. Last season we had the Super Formula cars, didn't we?
Oh, Formula 1 cars.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't the Formula 1 cars actually, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Anyway, practice session is about to run out. What I was going to say is there are a bunch of drivers that have been promoted from Silver Class. Sorry, not from Silver Class. From Silver Class into Gold Class. And chief of that right now, we have a bunch of those drivers driving out on the field right now. Keith Moore is one of them. He won the Silver Class last season, of course. So well played to him. And I think he's in gold now.
Yep. And in fact, he's got his work cut out here with plenty of fast fishes to deal with. Practice has finished, and we're going to go straight to qualifying after this. And some of these guys that end up in the gold class actually elected to be here because they were so excited by the fact that they got some road-relevant cars to race with and some really fast ones at that. So that's why we got a bumper field of 27 drivers that have signed up. But for the time being, at least 21's out on circuit. So not bad going as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you wouldn't pass up the opportunity to drive a 550 Maranello GT1 car or a Koenigsegg CCGT, right? Oh, there's a DBR9 as well as that. Oh, just look at the field right now. There's so much variety in the cars that are on the field. New cars, old cars, just the proper extremes of motorsport.
Yep. And you can hear different tones as well. V8s, high turbocharged powered V12s, just like the Aston Martin you can hear. Oh, that's a symphony.
Sound.
It's a symphony and a half in it. And well, we're glad to we got to bring some of these cars back into action. So basically, we're kind of like a historic racing championship, shall we say? Because some of these cars are old enough to be considered historics.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that because this DBR9 is what, over a decade old now? Because it started racing in 2007, 2008. So it's a very old car. And of course, it's been replaced by, in the lower class, of course, Aston Martin now racing primarily in GT3 with the Vantage GT3 car. But of course, you can't ignore the classics.
Yep. Especially cars like the Aston Martin DBR9. And of course, we're looking at now the Koenigsegg CCGT. And we get the first true indicator of what's it going to be like when qualifying gets underway. So, Damon, what's your prediction for qualifying? Is it going to be a complete Ferrari whitewash? Or is it going to be some spring of surprises like the Celine's up there, the S7, another boutique manufacturer? Or somebody else will come into play?
I know the Celine's are very fast cars indeed. Of course, there are a lot of Ferraris on the grid. So I think people are thinking that those are probably going to be the fastest cars. But the most important thing to consider is always going to be the drivers. And we have some very fast drivers. And we have the Mario Hasnam, who in fact won Gold Series, the Gold Class last season. And a bunch of fast drivers. Tengku Jan is here. Nakir Azlan is here. All very, very fast drivers.
Yep. Both it's sim and of course some of these guys IRL as well.
Yeah.
Right now then, 10 seconds left to go on the clock here. We're going to go pretty soon to qualifying. We got a few picks already. And, well, a white cast of cars, isn't it? I think by our count, 6, 7 different cars on the track. That's just what the doctor ordered, isn't it? So many good cars are on track. And we are ready to go in qualifying now.
Yeah, so the cars are now exiting the pits. You can see the 458 GT2 being the first one out, of course. Mohammed Zikri coming out on the outlet here. And just listen to the sounds of those engines just blaring out of the pits.
Yep, that's a V8 for the Ferrari, of course. The last non-turbocharged Ferrari GT car for Ferrari. But regardless, what came after this is also great, but you can't deny the successful car that was the 458. And we're going to look at other drivers who have come out on track. There's the DBR9 of Galandi Haki. Once again, that V12 is just so delightful to listen to.
Yeah, an immensely successful race car, of course. Did win the American Le Mans Series a couple of times. Aside from that, you can see some of the Celine S7Rs here. Demario Hasnam, we are on board with him right now in the 550 Maranello GT1 car. Another very fast car indeed. So far, all these drivers are on the outlap. Haven't really noticed anyone specific that we want to point out just yet, but we're going to have to see what it's like there. Okay, that's I thought that was a 911 GT1 behind the Celine there. That might have been. No, it's the Koenigsegg. Okay.
You have 2 Celines and a Koenigsegg sandwich in between, so it's 2 boutique manufacturers in a row coming together there. I'm not sure which ones are those because, of course, liveries not being seen here for this first round. But irregardless, it is a nice wide range of cars. And Demario Hasnam, defending champion, of course, as you said, in gold class, has his work cut out here in completely different cars. He was flying in the Formula 1 cars last season, but in this particular case, not this time. So probably it's just a case of being able to adapt to it.
Yeah, so the important thing right now is these cars are going to try to find a way to run a clean air. Demario Hasnam actually finding a very good position for him right now in front of traffic and with nothing in front of him. So he can run pretty well instead. Keith Moore, of course, our silver class winner, is going to be on the field as well. You can see all these cars on the field. Very fast cars indeed. Francis Angelo Gonzalez here with the Koenigsegg. I don't think he's the only one driving the CCGT on this field.
But he's the one that's notably the one that chose it because he's a guy that's been in this silver field since forever. Finally, he's been promoted to gold, and let's see what he can finally do in the fastest class of all.
Yeah. So we're in the position right now. These cars are, of course, very fast.
Oh! That's Danish Aram probably getting a bit of a whack there, and it goes straight back to pit lane. Let's see who we can follow out on track. There's Aldo Balagulin, the first of the GT1. So in fact, he's actually behind another GT1 there. It's the same Ferrari, of course. So 550s everywhere out on track.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to tell them apart once we actually get into the race now.
Yeah, especially given the fact there's no liveries on them.
Okay, so quick note for everyone that's watching, the GT1 cars are about 5 to 6 seconds faster than the GT3 cars that preceded them in bronze class earlier, and those cars are about 7 to 8 seconds faster than the actually close to 10 seconds faster than the the Copper League cars that we had here in those 5 trophies. So this is definitely a step up, which means that you need faster reactions, you need better knowledge of the car and the track of where you can push your limits.
Absolutely. And speaking of limits, he's pushing it up there. That's Aldo Balagulin on pole position, but Sai Sudaka goes even faster, a 42.6. So that's the gauntlet being laid. In fact, 41.5 for Naki Baslan. So Naki manages to pull it out of the hat here, and it's around the lap times that we were expecting because in the tests in private that we've done, we have actually clocked in 41s as well.
Yeah. And it's a very fast time to have. The question is whether or not you can keep it consistent. Of course, Nakib Aslan has a lot of clean air to get through. Demario Hasnam as well. Only slightly behind, about 7/10 of a second behind in terms of fastest laps. And, of course, fastest laps. Very important because you get points for them.
Yep, 5 points on the board already in just the start of the season. So that's a good springboard, especially when you try to battle for championship honors. As we look at Jasmine Tan behind here, he's actually gotten a Celine right in front of him. That's Ricky Satria in the Celine S7 GT, Celine S7R as he's called.
Yes. Again, another very popular, very interesting race car we don't see very much of. In fact, I think this is one of the only sim games these days that feature the S7R. So it's quite difficult to find them. it's even more difficult to recognize them. Actually, no, it's not. It's very easy to recognize one.
Yeah, brutish American muscle that is actually quite a match for the Ferraris, but for the time being at least, not fast enough to match him here, as the top fours are all Ferraris in fact.
Yeah. So looks like the Ferraris are very strong, of course. Most of these drivers have already put in their laps. We can see times ranging between 141s to about 145s near the back end of the grid.
And that's the Gujan, of course, in the GT2
Yep.
silver class, so that's why he's a couple of seconds off. But I think the GT2 cars are more than a match for the GT1s in certain areas, as across the line goes Nakib Aslan, still a 41.5. He did improve his lap that time around. Where are the other drivers making through improvements? Francis Angelo Gonzalez makes it to P12 for a second. Axel Nocom's in the pit lane, so he's called quits on qualifying. Ricky Satria then, the other driver in the Celine, is up to P8. So
0.006 of a second, just slightly behind his current fastest lap. A little bit tail happy coming out of that S corner.
Yep. In fact, quite a few drivers here. That in fact, we're looking at the screen for a second where to find some of the other cars. It looks as though GT2 cars not too close to the GT1s, which is what we were expecting, because at least it's not going to be nuisance, but they're not too far behind as well to cause them to be lapped.
Yeah, definitely. So qualifying just ended. Some of these drivers are still on track for the very final lap, trying to put in the best time that they can before we head into the race proper. Remembering, of course, this is a multi-class race, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on those cars that are in gold and silver and be able to differentiate them later on.
Well, that would be easy because the Ferrari 458 GT2, that's a brand new car for this championship. They'll be behind it along with the BMW E92 M3.
Yep.
And the, there was another car that was supposed to be chosen there. It was the Porsches, in fact. The Porsches are part of this particular field as well.
Yeah, the 911 GT1, GT1, is it in the game? I'm wondering right now.
Well, whatever it is right now, we're looking at Nakib Aslan and Demario Hasnam, first and second on the road, first and second in the timing sheets. Across the line goes Nakib. Is he going to improve? No, it's a 41.5.
Yeah.
Is Demario going to improve across the line? No. 42.2. So 7/10 is the final difference between first and second, between the Malaysian and Indonesian, with a Filipino in third. So 3 different nationalities, making that 4 different nationalities up in front. 5, including Jasmine Tan. So that's a very good field. Top 5 are Ferraris, yes, but it is still competitive up in front with 5 different nations being represented.
You can see the Porsche there just behind. Okay, let's look forward to the grid. We can see Nakib Aslan taking pole position, Demario Haslam just behind him, Roy Ripperip in third place, Sai Sudhakar, of course, another very fast driver from last season, in 4th, Jasmine Tan in 5th, Ricky Satria in 6th, Aldo Balagulan in 7th, Aryadi Vishnu in 8th, Axel Nocom in 9th, and Priyanata in rounding up the top 10. So, I've seen all of these drivers. They've been very fast. We've seen some of these drivers in the Endurance Edition that we had just last week as well. So, it's going to be a tough one to call. All these drivers are considerably fast.
Yep, and very evenly matched in terms of performance as well. Yes, we saw that Nakib is the only one to be able to put a 41 in qualifying, but again, race is a different kettle of fish, and we're waiting to see whether or not anybody can spring a surprise coming to the race.
Okay, 8 seconds before the cars all come on track, right? Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited now. After what I've seen in the Copper and Bronze League, I'm really excited to see what we have in store this time around, of course. You can see all the cars in idle right now.
Yep, and we can't wait to hear how these will go on track. So, jumping now to the pole sitter, Nakib Aslan. His brother Nazmir Aslan is also in the race. Qualified. In fact, 2 of the Aslans are here as well, Nazmir and Nazri. So, Nazmir is out, Nazri is on the grid. So, at least 2 Aslans make up for the numbers here. Nakib then up in pole position. Where is he? There's the look of the grid. It's a 250-meter dash from the start-finish line all the way to the first corner, so that's going to be quite a vantage point for him if he gets the clear whole shot in front. You can hear the V12 of that Ferrari revving on the grid. It's idling right now, but make no mistake, when it screams, it will scream the sound of science.
Yeah, we've got the launch is all that matters for these drivers right now. If you don't get a good launch, you don't get a good run up into turn 1, and with these cars, you will lose distance very quickly if you don't catch up. Okay, after Kujan here, I think somewhere in P20 it looks like.
Yep,
in the GT2 class, of course.
and then we
Irfan.
got one of the Porsches here.
Yep.
Irfan Arifianto. Right beside him is Mohamed Zikri. And surprisingly, the pole sitter is not a Ferrari 458 or a BMW M3. It is in fact Vladi Malik in the first of the Porsches. So he managed to sneak it up there in front. Now that's good actually, because that shows how competitive the field is, as Nakib Aslan then ready to go onto pole position from the start of the race. 5 red lights then. In fact, 6 on the gantry here. And when they go out, we'll be off for the first time for gold and silver for race number 1 here of Global Edition 13. And we are underway. It's a good start.
What happened?
Oh, that's a hit already further behind. But either way, we're going to get to see Nakib get the whole shot. I don't know who's that spun out in turn number 1. But here we go to turn 1 here. He does get the whole shot. Hasnam gets a bit of a jump. Gets jumped there by Saisuruka, I think, and Hasnam goes into the gravel. Not the best way to start this race, I believe, for the Mario Hasnam, who was up in second. Now he spun out, and another Ferrari further behind there. GT2 Ferrari spun her up, but disaster here for the defending series champion.
I think that was Jasmine Tan that just ended up spinning at the beginning of the stretch there. But I wasn't sure of who the other Ferrari is coming out there. We can actually see, I think that's fuel level of the cars as they're coming around the corner. Yeah, that definitely looks like it. I don't know where that came from, but regardless.
Oh, that's the dash actually pouring out. But that's quite cool. That's kind of like Formula 1, isn't it? Where they put the interactive dashes on screen.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, out on track car in front, it's Nakib Aslan with an already 2.6 second gap in front of Roy Rip. So that is demoralizing for a lot of people when they know that even a brand new category, brand new cars, it's still the same old story as the fuel reading actually pops out on screen.
Oh no, I think that was the display from the dashboard of the DBR9, I think. That's probably what ended up popping up on screen. So we'll ignore that. Ricky Satria and the Celine S7R making good headway onto Roy Rip just in front of him. Man, the right side of the car looks clean, and then you go over to the left and it's just dead central.
Well, very dead. In fact, it looked like it rubbed against a barrier there. But Ricky Satria then up to P3. That's the best start that he could have wanted. But across the line for the first time then, it will be Nakib Aslan in front with somehow a Porsche up there. So Vladi Malik with a brilliant start to be among the GT1 field.
Yeah, and he's actually surprisingly clearing the GT1 field. What is... Oh, okay. Right, the spacing between that 911 is a bit odd. But regardless, it does seem like this Porsche 911 is very, very fast.
Yep. And speaking of fast, here's a fast recovering the Mario Hasnam, who will be really quite disappointed that he got taken out at turn 1 there. But regardless, he will be close to pole position in race number 2. And he comes through to overtake Vladi Malik, who's the silver leader. Luckily, then no histrionics between them.
Yeah, Vladi Malik definitely let him pass through there. He knows he's in a different class than the driver in front of him, of course. But holding on to the lead in silver in front of another GT1 car, I think it's driven by Keith Moore, is just behind him. So keeping a gap of one GT1 car in front of your GT2 competition is actually very good. A very good position to be in for Vladi Malik.
Yeah, that shows that particular GT2 car really is up to snuff. As onto the back straight goes Keith Moe. As further behind, that's a battle between Sai Suzuka and Galandi Haki in the Aston Martin. There's the Aston around the inside with the Ferrari on the outside. Oh, that's a dive and a half from Galandi Haki. Sai Suzuka was second to that, but he will be first coming into the next part because he's on the inside and makes it through. Is that Tengku Jan Lei behind? That is Jan. So Jan with another good drive as well.
Yeah, again, mixing it up in the field with these GT1 cars. And surprisingly, they're quite on pace together. But that could just be due to the fact that there are battles happening around the track and all these cars ended up being slowed down by each other. So we'll have to see whether or not these gaps, these battles will be consistent throughout the race. You can see just behind Tengku Jan there, that's Navira Wanakuata in the Corvette C6R.
Yep, and he has to overtake a fellow class member there. That's Priyanata. Yeah, no, it is Priyanata, yeah, because Arifianto is actually in the Porsche right behind, so he's in the silver category. The Porsches are really mixing it with the GT1 cars, and in fact even Jan's BMW is up there as well. So he's not doing himself too covering himself much shame. He is doing very well.
Yeah, very good driving, of course, from Takujan. Of course, that's kind of what we expect from him. A very good driver indeed, in real life and in sim racing, of course. As we go over to the front of the field, I think Aldo Balagula just pushed himself slightly into third place and is just behind Roy Ripare. What happened to Ricky Satriana? He got pushed down to P6.
Yeah, Satriana may have had another hit. You can see the car looks a bit second rate right now. There's the other Celine right in front of him. That's Axel Nokov.
Axel Nokov just in front, and a much cleaner Celine. Of course, the Koenigsegg only just behind them, driven by Francis Angelo Gonzalez there. Not a very fast car. Check, keep an eye out on the grid, but of course a very, very difficult beast to keep under control. And
yeah, you might say the road cars like that, but the CCGT is actually quite a drivable car, especially the fact that we mandated traction control in ABS, and it is very controllable. So luckily, we're seeing that the car is quite competitive, especially in the hands of Angelo Gonzalez, who's making his proper debut in the gold class.
Yeah, and it's also one of those cars that you don't specifically see that many aero modifications. You can see it's got the standard kit, almost pretty much standard diffuser, standard splitter. Pretty much the only thing that's different is the hood scoop and the spoiler.
Yep. Not the Top Gear spoiler that the Stig recommended, of course.
That one was an entirely different piece. That was put on an 800 horsepower car. This is a little bit less powerful.
Yep, to make it drivable in racing conditions, otherwise it would just fry his racing tires.
Yeah, remember the Speed 12?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's go back to the front of the field. Aldo Balagulan again closing the gap between him and Roy Ripperip in second place. This is a battle for P2. It looks like Nakib Aslan comfortably ahead, almost 10 seconds in fact. 3 Ferraris rounding out the top 4 right now.
With a Celine in between there as Roy goes wide. His internet's a little bit second-handed right now because his car is crabbing a bit. Although Balagulan might just be a bit more wary the fact that his fellow countrymen is like this.
No, it's fine as long as he doesn't cause an incident. Although it does look kind of funny when you're looking at it from this point of view. Let's go over to Aldo Balagulan's point of view on board and see what he sees. Of course, you can see here Aldo Balagulan, these cars are very fast indeed. They can clear 200 Ks in a very short distance.
I don't think we can see the speedo on this particular reading.
You can see that just below the driver name says about the consistent.
On the indicator, but on the lower thirds, I was paying attention to the monitor here. We can see the revs. So it's limited to 7,500 revs. But yeah, let's see how fast it can go. Look at it. As you said, it reaches 200 in a flash.
Yeah, so you can see that I think these cars will probably hit about 250K just before the first corner. The start finish rate
270.
Yeah, 270 I think is more likely there. You can see he's timing up its speed just below that.
Wow, look at that. 270, even close to 280 in the draft there for Balagulan. In front of him is Roy Riprip. I think would have been pushing at least 270 because he has clear air right in front.
Yep.
For the time being at least. Ariadi Vishnu is just watching brief with Balagulan and Ripperip going at it.
Yeah, and they're still in this position. They're still locked in the title. They're still locked in the title battle between each other. The gap hasn't narrowed as well. Where you can see here, if we go down to P6 with Rekir Satria, he's actually in the battle with Demario Hasnam, it looks like. And Demario Hasnam is about to make a move on him.
Oh, both had a big slide there. Luckily, traction control kept them all in check. But regardless, 600 horses on your right foot, you wouldn't want to step out completely. And luckily for Satria and Hasnam, they didn't meet there. But listen, though, Hasnam has the better of his fellow countrymen. Oh, does he? Around the inside. Oh, no. Oh, they touched. But luckily, Satria faced the right way and not into the oncoming traffic. Oh, no, Hasnam spun it. Actually, Hasnam has spun it.
He couldn't collect the car in time. It looks like he kept it straight, but the second you put your foot on the throttle, traction control level not high enough, the wheels will spin regardless. And now Demario Haslam didn't really actually lose any positions at all. He's still in P7.
No, actually, he lost more than that because 7's been
I've been waiting for the leaderboards to update for a bit. Yeah.
Yep.
So Keith Moore is now in front of him. Keith Moore, again, a very fast driver, winner of our silver class last season, just as a reminder, is keeping pace with the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, in fact, Keith Moore comes into this season as defending silver champion. He has high hopes. He wants to finish at least in the top 5 for his first race in gold. And now he's gonna get the opportunity here, but he has to defend hard against a fast-charging Sai Suzuka with Floody Mulling somehow still somewhere in there behind these GT1 cars.
Okay, let's see who breaks later. It seems, okay, Keith does break later because he has the better line. Sai Sudokar has to give him space. Can't make that pass happen in turn 1 as they're entering turn 2 right now. Still behind Ricky Satria. Very close battle, I think. This is for P6 right now. As we look towards the front of the field, Axel Nocom is actually already considerably ahead of Ricky Satria. So right now, this is a battle that's locked between only these 2 drivers.
Yep.
4 maybe.
Excluding Fladdy, because Fladdy is in a completely different class,
Yeah.
so we don't want to make him a non-factor, but in this particular instance, because it's a class battle, he is a non-factor. Though, credit where credit's due, he is keeping up with these faster GT1 cars.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't keep our eyes on Friday Malik for too long because his livery does seem to contain some insensitive language.
Yeah, we'll not focus on that one.
Yeah.
We'll just keep up in front here with these guys. And further behind, Arifianto actually is in a close battle with Alia Wafik Prenata. And yes, he has the same car that has the provocative slogans. We'll have to kick out of that.
Francis Angelo Gonzalez, he's been holding P10, I think, for the last maybe 7 or 8 minutes. I don't think he's moved up position. He's keeping it consistent.
Yeah, and in a car that is quite twitchy that when I've tested it, but we managed to just get it more or less neutral enough, still keeping the characteristics of the car because, again, it's fast on the straights, just like the actual CCX
Yeah.
and all its other descendants after that, but it's still manageable through the corners, so shame we never got to see this car in action.
Yeah, it was definitely unfortunate, but there's no better time than now to see it in action, competing against cars in its class. Well, not really in its class, it's sandwiched between 2 GT2 cars, of course. But that is not to take away anything from the drivers in the GT2 cars, because they look very fast indeed.
Yep, and very fast to the point that it could actually be a challenge to the GT1 cars, and we're looking at it right now. The other GT2 car that has been actually handling quite well, Tengku Janlei in the BMW M3, second in the silver category, and he's not too shabby at all.
Yeah, definitely. The only competition he really has is Vladi Malik, and Vladi Malik is a considerable distance ahead of him. Well, let's go over back to the front of the pack. I think the gaps between these few cars have already been solidified. Sai Sudokar there still fighting Keith Moore for that P7 position.
Yeah, and if the gap's now less than 0.2 of a second, just a smidge over 0.2, but close, nearly to less than 0.2 of a second. Coming up to turn 9 then, will Sudokar make it through against Mo? Mo then has Ricky Satra in his sights, but he has to start defending now, coming into the very treacherous turn 10 at La Caixa.
Alright, let's see if he does take the outside line. That goes a bit wide. Oh, he braked way too late there. He doesn't get a good run out. And Vladi Malik, in fact, is going to take a pass at him, and he's going to end up behind. Still in the same position in this class, Vladi Malik ended up letting him through. But there is another driver behind him, and it is Roy Ripper, who somehow ended up in P8.
Yeah, I think because Roy may have actually lost ground somewhere, but unfortunately he is outside of that top 5 that he would love to be in. But irregardless, at least now he is back in a position to fight for better points. Sai Sudokar likewise tries to get ahead of Kimo. 1.1 seconds is now the gap between them. Up in front as well, Aldo Balagula has managed to get by. In fact, that might have been the reason why Roy Ripper spun around. He might have been hit by Aldo Balagulin.
Yeah, we'll have to see because we ended up missing that action, of course. We'll be able to see if there are any words that will come out from some of these drivers, if there were any incidents that happened throughout the race. But that will be then. This is right now, of course. Ayadi Vishnu holding on to P3. Axel Nocom, very quiet race from him, but he's in P4, which is a very good spot for him.
And he's not far off from P3 with Ayadi Vishnu just a second ahead. And remember, he is one of the young guns from the Philippines. Him, Alan Drake Cruz as well, two of the fastest kids to have come out of there. And they're only just entering their teens here. So it goes to show that when they start early, they really can excel.
Yeah, my 26-year-old self cannot even hope to catch up to them. And believe me, I have tried. These kids are very, very fast. Okay, we've got about 90 seconds left before the end of race 1. It seems every position has been solidified more or less. However, another battle for P7 is happening right now. Roy Ripperip is in front of Sai Sudokar, but not by much.
I think because he overtook Sai Sudokar, so that's why the positions changed.
Yep.
But it's a recovery drive for Roy after being in the dizzying heights of second. Now he has it all to do again. You can see the front of his car. It's a bit mangled there. Probably that's where the collision came from, but I'm not sure if it was due to him hitting the barrier or the back of another car. Either way, he is going to have to settle for P7, but he'll start higher up on the grid come race 2.
Yeah, of course, every single class will have race 2 as a reverse grid. So P1 will start in P10 and P10 will start in P1 with every car in between also swapping positions. So Nakib Aslan here, very comfortable lead in front of everyone else. About 14.5 seconds separate him and Aldo Balagulan, which is a very good start to round 1.
Yeah, in fact, that's quite a big lead that he had over Balagulan. Probably because Balagulan and Roy Ripper came to Cropper. That's why he is way up in front. As Vladi Malek is still sandwiching himself between the battle of GT1 cars, and Teguh as well, likewise watching brief. So he is hoping that he could get a class win at the end. We're going to have to move away from this battle for now, even if it is brewing, because Nakib Aslan is coming through the final sector here to, no doubt, take a very comprehensive win on his return to the championship. And it's been a while since we saw Nakib win a race here in this championship, although he has been winning elsewhere. Irregardless, out of the final corner goes Nakib Aslan, and he takes victory here for the first round of ERGP Global Edition 13 in the gold and silver class in Barcelona. What a way to do it. It is an absolutely comprehensive win and has laid a gauntlet for the rest of the field to catch up to. Now we're going back to that battle for P8 overall. Sai Sudhakar is actually ahead now by 2.7 seconds. Vladi Malek managed to overtake Angelo Gonzalez and Damari Hasna with Teguh Jan Lei mixing it in between them, but it looks as though Vladi will win the first round here in silver class. Across the line goes Balagulan, out of our sights in second, Vishnu third, Nokon fourth, Satya fifth, and across the line that is a side-by-side action between the Koenigsegg and the Ferrari, with I think Hasnam just missing out on P9 behind Francis Angelo Gonzalez, and that will be P8 in the gold class. So there are your winners on screen then. This is car number, the winner in silver, with the winner in gold on the insets.
What a race already, and I'm not just saying that because of the cars. What a race. Of course, the biggest winner here, Nakib Aslan, very comfortable win, was under no pressure whatsoever compared to the rest of the field. Of course, repping the best way to represent Maranello is, of course, with a win. And yeah, wow, that was great. That was an amazing first race.
Indeed, and it's quite vindicated that we decided to go for GT1 and GT2s, though there's been some questionable balance of performances, I guess, because some cars are undoubtedly faster than others, so we might look into that in round number 2 and just balance them out. But regardless, that's a good taster for what's going to come in race number 2, and it'll be a reverse grade race from the top 10 onwards. So Nakib Aslan has it all to do for race number 2.
Ooh, tall ass coming back from P10 to P1. We've of course seen it happen in the previous 2 races, but that really wasn't because of them specifically. It just happened that incidents occurred that gave them the opportunity to step ahead. But as a driver, your main instinct is to take advantage of such opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And for guys like Nakib, the advantage was that he had been on pole position, so he managed to get by. Well, actually, he got a good launch off the line. Get by that initial phase of being attacked, and he never looked back since.
Yeah, pretty much. He didn't have to look at his rearview mirrors at all. He could just like turn it to the side and just concentrate on the road in front of him. Okay, screen's fading to black now, so that means we're just about ready to get into race 2. We've got about a minute before the cars end up on the grid. Just to remind you again, Nakib Aslan did end up winning race 1, which means he will start at P10 on the grid.
Yep, P10 on the grid for Nakib Aslan, with who's finished second? Aldo Balagulan right in front of him. So that's a very fast 5th row. If Balagulan were to not, let's say, get into a collision with Nakib in the first corner, it might just open up the race for the rest of the field to win that one. Let's see some of the others. Ricky Satria will be lining up alongside Keith Moore. That'll be an interesting pairing, because we saw just now how the Celine and the Ferrari were quite close in terms of performance, but the Celine in this particular case didn't have the legs on the Ferrari, so we'll have to wait and see whether or not that will be the case in race number 2. And of course, Vladi Malek will be starting up there in P3, because he actually finished high overall, so that's why he is up there. That's amazing.
It's kind of weird to be in a field like you're literally the only GT2 car in a pack of GT1s, and you're starting near the front as well. So I think you want to be really careful you don't end up being an obstacle in the road for these drivers, of course, on account of the performance differences. Although it's not by much.
Yep.
Like these cars are definitely still competitive with one another.
Absolutely. And look, is in P1 is the Mario Hasnam. So Hasnam then, pole position for him after what was a disastrous first race where he got clouted out of the race twice. And so wants to make up for it here by winning race number 2, no doubt. But he has to console himself with the fact that he is starting in P1 and his chief rival, especially from qualifying, is starting all the way in P10.
Yeah. Redemption race, as we like to call it, of course. You won't win the same amount of points, but a win is a win, and the win feels good. That's what matters to a lot of people.
Absolutely. And no doubt it will taste sweeter knowing the fact that at least he could get a win on the board and just boost his confidence coming into the next round next week.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't even decided on what the track is going to be next week, I should point out, but we'll see. It does look like this is Catalonia is a very good starting point for these drivers. We got some very high octane and intense action, and we're about to go back to that intensity because this is our final race of the night.
Yep. And we're looking at Jasmine Tan. Of course, remember Jasmine had that problem at the start where he got knocked out of the grid. So somehow, even on the start line, he got twisted into the spin. Let's see some of the other cars. Let's go to Sachita Morimada, who's in the Corvette. So he was struggling as well at the start. We're on the start for race number 2 here. Demario Hasnam on pole position. And we go out here for race number 2. We'll be underway for the final time tonight. And can't see who get the better jump there. I think it looks as though Hasnam might have had a better first part. But second part, right beside him, Francis Angelo Gonzalez in the Koenigsegg comes through to take the whole shot into turn number 1.
All right, we're going to take car back to the pits and then come back to the action immediately afterwards. But from what we can see right now, Francis Angelo Gonzalez did not end up holding on to the lead. Demario Haslam, closing the door on him almost. That was a little bit of a shunt there.
Yeah,
but it seemed he kept it under control.
And further behind, we had a car spinning, so I think that might have been Aulia Wafi Priyanatha. Yep, Priyanatha in the Ferrari in the back of the grid. So is Galandi. And is that Nazri Aslan? I think Nazri, yep. Nazri might have been involved in the wars there too. No, in fact, Nazri's there. So another Ferrari further behind. But whatever it is, up in front, Demario Haslam managed to stave off the advances of Francis Angelo Gonzalez in the Koenigsegg and holds on to the lead of the race, just like he wanted.
Yeah, and now the important thing is whether or not he can hold on to this lead. It's 1 minute into the race right now. We haven't gotten into the position where he's really contested for this P1 position. And from prior experiences... Someone just went off, and that's Ricky Satria. He just spun out.
And another further collision behind, and that is this time cars spinning everywhere, including Nakib Aslan. Nakib nearly got beached there, but luckily he manages to keep it going.
Something happened there, and I'm really not sure what's going to happen. We're going to probably find out what happens afterwards. Okay, Nakib Aslan. Oh, I think that's a bit of a lag situation there. Desync coming at there. Ricky Satria, the biggest loser alongside Nakib Aslan of that incident.
Major desync. Unfortunately, that happened way too close. I think Satria might have been the one. Oh, there's a spin there as well for Galandi Haki in the Aston Martin. So he is facing the wrong way at one point. Luckily, though, nobody had major damage that they would be sent to the pits. And unlike certain drivers at the start just now, they managed to at least make it round and start another lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the drivers did not survive the encounter. One of them, of course, is Nazmi Aslan, who ended up having to go back to the pits there. Unfortunate that his race ended so soon, but of course, we're going to have to go back to the front of the pack. Aldo Bala Gulan there. He's not in a good spot.
None whatsoever, and I think he might have been involved in that major desync just now. And he was collected along with Nakib Aslan. Oh, right outside! Whoa. Right outside goes Sai Suzuka on Francis Angelo Gonzalez, and that was a very good move, very opportunistic. He nearly went out onto the gravel, but luckily Gonzalez gave him enough space and gets him to P2. Axel Ocom as well in the Celine, looking to take advantage of a faltering Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez wasn't going to take that sitting down, but ended up being too aggressive on the entry, losing a lot of speed at the exit, giving Axel Ocom the time and space to mount an attack, as we can see coming out right now. These cars are quite unstable even at low speeds as well. So paramount to anything else is car control for these drivers.
Yeah, and given the fact that you got 600 horses under your foot and these cars really pack a punch in terms of torque power to the road, you really got to be very steady. And for certain drivers that has not been the case, but for Nocom, he managed to wheel that Celine around absolutely with absolute finesse.
Yeah, okay, we're back in the lull state, I should say, of course. Keith Moore in a comfortable position now. He's in 5th, far cry from his race 1 result, of course. So all the drivers that are in front right now are going to be pretty happy with the results, as long as they can keep it that way.
Yeah, but for how long? Because we know for a fact that a lot of things can go wrong when we just mentioned it. So let's hope that's not the particular case. And certainly for not for Francis Angelo Gonzalez, he'll love to have this podium position, especially on his debut in the Gold class. He really wants to keep it together here, but he's got no call for company right behind. And the younger Filipino really is looking quite antsy, while the Malaysian, the youngest Malaysian in the grid here, is just watching brief.
Yeah. At all times, all you want to do is bide your time. You don't want to take part in any unnecessary battles just in case you end out on the losing side. But this is a battle that is definitely necessary for Axel Nocom. This podium finish is going to mean a lot for him, and it all depends on whether he can make the move. If he can get out of T14, out of Catalunya into the back straight, as I say that right now, he's trying to make a pass happen with the old switcheroo, gets the inside track, but won't have the line. But Francis Gonzalez kind of lost control of the car for a bit, and Axel Nocom just takes that opportunity and passes him.
Yeah, he couldn't get it he couldn't get the car properly in there, as Naki Baslan has retired from the race. So the car may have been terminal after that major collision, and he didn't have any more purchase on the tires, so that's why he's kind of have to park it, and that makes the Mario Hasnam's day just slightly better given how it turned out in race number 1.
Yeah, and of course the damage is at 60% for this particular class of racing, and I think Gonzalez here just demonstrated why the Koenigsegg is a tough car to drive, despite how much more manageable it is compared to the road car.
Yeah, and he showed there why even on power he just needed to be a bit, he needed more finesse coming out of there to just control it. Unfortunately for him, that was enough for Nocom to just sneak on the inside and get a position out of him. So that's P3 overall and in class for young Axel Nocom. As now we are looking at Keith Moe then, on board with him. He'll try to actually have a piece of that pie. Nocom under attack from Gonzalez for a second. Nocom saw Gonzalez coming and shut the door on him.
Yeah, and Keith Moe is still biding his time, just waiting for a mistake to happen. That's kind of, as I say that, he almost lets the tail out. A little bit of a slide there, kept it under control just enough that he doesn't lose any time, and he can't afford to lose any time because he needs his P3 position as well.
Yeah, but that would be a good way to start his career in the Gold class, because he did come here with a lot of reputation given the fact that he's won all there is to it in the lower classes.
Yep.
Now it's time for him to prove himself in the big leagues.
Yep. And now, just managing to keep the car under control, of course, is Keith Moe here, just behind Gonzalez. So the gap is narrowing, but it's a matter of time to see whether or not Gonzalez can will make a mistake right now.
Or Keith just now with a slight understeer coming into the penultimate corner, so that lost a bit of momentum, and guess what, that actually turned out to be that way. That's how it transpired. Gonzalez then can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, the gap ended up extending. Didn't get the best exit out of Catalunya there. As now we go back just behind Keith Moe, of course, is Roy Ripperip, who ended up not having the greatest race despite spending most of it in P2 last race.
Yeah, again, that might have we go back to the fact that it might have been a collision with Aldo Balagulen, or he lost it himself.
Yeah.
That's why the car was scuffed at the front and the rear was almost unscathed.
Yeah. Although he can definitely take solace in the fact that Aldo Balagulen is now not having the best race of his own either, stuck in P15.
Yeah. And probably it's for the worst of it, because that, again, was just a massive desync problem.
Yeah.
He's happy to at least be in clear air right now, but looking on board with Roy Rip, he might just be able to get the most out of this here. with better points haul in race number 2. Kimo not being able to reel in Francis Angelo Gonzalez that he would have wanted compared to what Axel Ocon was doing.
Yeah, and while he's not being able to narrow the gap between him and Gonzalez, Roy Ripperip is closing the gap between him and Keith. So it's a tug of war basically, and it's all a matter of which rope falls first.
Yeah, or if it snaps and rips the arms of both people who are doing the tug of war.
Don't say that, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
I've done enough jinxing this today. I don't need you to be doing the same thing as well.
Yeah, but luckily they can't hear us. It only happens if we jinx them. So we just hope we can just counter jinx them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Touch wood. This is not wood. Is it? It's not wood.
Well, we'll have to go to the forest for that one. But here's Keith Mo under severe pressure from Roy Ripperip. Ripperip with a great slipstream. Dinks one on the inside and just couldn't make it through. But we saw a bit of a lockup from a driver in front. That might have been either Gonzalez or Nocom. In fact, it might have been Gonzalez because he's the closest car there. Behind there, Zikri and Tunku Janle with a fight. But unfortunately, that fight rescinded because Zikri just cut the corner and he has to serve that penalty.
That was a big slowdown penalty, of course. I think that's a very long penalty.
Yeah, unfortunately now look, there's the rest of the field going through. Luckily for him, it's a driver that's not in this class and he's able to continue in P3. But it's a case of what might have been had it not been for that corner cut.
Yeah, and now we're locked into a battle between Tunku Jan and Fradi Malay. Again, P1 and P2 in class. This is a battle that has started since the beginning of race 1. While Tunku Jan not being able to close the gap between him and Fradi Malay. Still a very good position to be in. I mean, P2 in class for both races. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing to be sneezed at, especially given the fact that Jan is a well-proven sim racer too. So, again, shows that why he is both the master IRL and in sim racing is just nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I need to find some time to ask him to let me sit in his car while he pulls donuts in the parking lot.
Try to go for the Hachiroku then.
Just made me feel so good inside. Okay, ignoring that, let's go back over to the front of the pack. Demario Hasnam again solidifying his lead all the way in front. 8-second gap over Sai Sudokar. Roy Ripper, however, still trying to mount an attack on Keith Moore. Has the toe onto the final straight. Coming out the outside, he's got the slingshot. Will he be able to make the corner? Keith Moore does have to break early. Roy Ripper might be able to take it in, but his lines are too long and too wide, and he ends up exceeding the track limits a little bit. That was a bit of a shot. I think he forced Keith Moore off his line.
Yeah, he did, and he just slid into him, or probably he came back around because it is turn 2. It tightened a bit. Keith was on the outside, and unfortunately a collision was almost inevitable. Luckily for Keith, he didn't spin out. He went onto the gravel a bit, but manages to recover just in time.
Yeah, but he's still not going to be happy with that result, of course. You never want to concede a position to an incident that could have been avoidable. We might have some words later on with them, depending on the situation, of course. Roy Ripper now in 5th. Keith Moore still heading on to 6th place. Vladi Malik actually really close behind him.
Yeah, Vladi Malik is the Porsche here in the GT2 class, aka the silver class as well. Amazingly, still managing to keep up with
Why is it silent
yeah,
inside the car?
Suddenly we can hear ourselves better, but probably because this is a sound mod that we needed to install for the Porsche. But either way, great drive from Vladi Malik for both races, and it's going to be a double win for him. In fact, he even got pole position, so it's a complete gentleman's set in the GT2 class. You can hear it. You can't just hear it.
I don't think that's his car, though. I think that's the other car behind him. Okay, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a bit on the light side, but either way, great drive from Vladi Malik, managing to win both the silver class races. Well, tentatively for the second race, but you get the idea.
Yeah, it's less than 3 minutes before the end of the race, and of course, I think Vladi Malik might have the fastest lap in class as well. We're going to have to double check that later on. Of course, Aldo Balagulan actually climbing up slowly, was in P15, now up to P10. Muhammad Zikri cutting the track earlier on cost him so much time. And I think, what happened to Tunku Jan? He ended up dropping out.
Yeah, where is John actually? John's in the pit lane, so... Oh, that's a real shame, isn't it? John was looking so good to finish consecutive races in P2. Now he is actually in the pit lane. Oh, it's not a severe blow to his chances of a championship run. It was only the first race of the season and he can put a drop round. And in fact, he is on his way out of there. So probably there was a bit of damage anyway, and he had to pit. So, oh,
It
that's a
didn't,
shame.
it didn't look like he pit though. It just seemed like he teleported back to the pits instead. So
Either way.
there is a chance he might have accidentally pressed the wrong button. We don't know that for sure. But whatever the case, I think at this point his race is over.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming back over here between the battle between Keith Moore and Roy Ripperip, which isn't really a battle anymore because the gap between them is far too wide now. And there aren't any more really close battles happening on the field, aside from this one between Keith Moore and Freddy Malik.
Yeah, but if we jump to his onboard camera, he can see the Porsche right behind him. There is that silver class GT2 Porsche of Fladdy Malik. Fladdy then really flying in that particular car. I don't know how on earth this car is this good. It is basically a car that should be a step lower, but probably the lightweight of the car and how well it accelerates out of the corners just make up for it. And there's Fladdy then on the start finish straight, ready to pressure Keith.
Yeah, you shouldn't be in this position because of the class difference, but at the same time you can see that the 911 GT2 is actually exiting the corners faster than the 550 Maranello.
Yeah, that's attributed to the fact that the car is much lighter by at least a couple of 100 kilograms.
Oh, here it comes. Yeah, Keith was just letting him through.
Yeah, Fladdy managed to go through on the inside there. Keith goes through. Fladdy goes through on Keith, so that's the end of that particular battle. Now, we're looking at a battle with Roy Ripper and Francis Angelo Gonzalez between the two Filipinos. So, 3 Filipinos in a row, with the youngest one up in front. The other 2, the slightly older guys, are further behind. And it looks as though Rip may be able to take away that position here if he manages to sneak one by. But he has to do it very soon because we're on the final lap now. The Mario Hasnam more than 8 seconds ahead of Sai Suzuka. We're still watching this battle here. We're waiting until he's in the final sector so that we can view him at last. There's a further incident behind there. Something happened to Keith Moore, I think, because he had a big slide. Yeah, luckily they kept it together because there is Ricky Satra and Celine behind. But there is Roy Ripper behind Francis Gonzalez by 6/10. Up in front, the Mario Hasnam, who has been untouched all the way, apart from a couple of scratches on the side of his car, comes through to take victory here in race number 2. Makes up for the disappointment in race 1 where he finished in 9th. And he crosses there, probably feeling slightly better knowing the fact that his main rival is out of the running in this race. Second is Sai Suzuka with a brilliant performance. Makes it 2 Ferraris in the top 2. And a Celine in 3rd with Axel Nocon. Welcome back to the podium, young Axel. And 4th place across the line. Roy Ripperip didn't get past Francis Angelo Gonzalez. He crossed the line in 4th. Roy in 5th. Fladdy Malik wins 2 in 2 in the silver class in 6th. Keith Moore in P7. And decides to play a bit of car skittles there. And a Corvette comes in there between for good measure. But that's the end of it. And it's another win for Demario Hasnam. But probably not in the way that he would have wanted, given the circumstances of what happened in race number 1. But regardless, he gets the win in the end. And race number 2 belongs to him with a good haul of points.
Yeah, the redemption race complete for him in round 1 here. Great driving from Demario Hasnam. We'll see if we're able to get him onto the interview call today. No, it doesn't seem like it because we haven't gotten it set up yet, unfortunately. We'll definitely have it ready by next time around, of course.
But either way, that is a wrap for our show today. So thank you very much, Damien, for the commentary as well. My name is Em Isaac, and we'll see you next time for round 2. But until then, goodbye and stay safe.